Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome. If you haven't yet, please find a seat, and we will convene this evening's meeting. I'd like to call today is, for the record, Wednesday, August 19th, 2026. It is now 5:06 p.m. Tonight, the invocation will be given by Reverend Howard Harden, Senior Pastor of the First Baptist Church of Homestead, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Could you all rise, please? Pastor Harden, welcome.
Our Lord and our God, we come before you with grateful hearts, thanking you for our many blessings. We thank you for the privilege of living in this great city with its abundant resources and with its rich history and amazing people from different cultures. And we thank you for the rights that we enjoy, rights that we have received not from government, but from your hand. May we never take those rights for granted. May we remember that with those rights come responsibilities. As we gather tonight, we need you to guide us. Our mayor, vice mayor, and council members have important tasks to perform and decisions to make, which will require discernment. We pray that you would help them to work together for that which is in the best interest of this community. As we've entered into a new school year, we want to especially pray for local education. We pray for administrators, especially principals, that they would lead our schools with integrity and with wisdom. We pray for extra grace for all of our teachers, guard them against discouragement, and we pray that all of our schools would be safe places of learning for all students. For all of these things and for your presence with us tonight, we give you praise, and I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. We have the roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Fletcher.
Here.
Councilwoman Avila.
Here.
Councilman Roth. Councilwoman Konski. Councilman Cannibal. Here. Vice Mayor Bailey. Here. Mayor Losner.
Here. All right. We have, at this point, any additions, deletions, or deferrals. I'd like to entertain a motion at this time to add addendum numbers 1 and 2 to the agenda. Moved by Councilman Fletcher, second by Councilman Cannibal. Any comment for the addition of addendums number 1 and 2 to the agenda? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Manager, are there any further additions, deletions, or deferrals this evening?
Mr. Mayor, I believe there is a minor substitution item for car item 5103. Mr. City Attorney.
You'll note that there was an amended resolution that's before you. When we get to that item, I'll explain what the 3 minor amendments were.
Very good. Thank you. We will now move to public comment, and given the volume of registered speakers and the interest present probably on several items tonight, we are going to limit each speaker to 2 minutes. I'm going to first call upon those who have pre-registered, and I've attempted to put them in order by virtue of who clocked in first. So the first speaker, I believe it's Elmer Molina. Mr. Molina here? Yes. Hi, please come on down. Give us your name and address for the record, and we'll put 2 minutes on the clock.
Good evening. My name is Elmer Molina. My address is 18842 Southwest 318 Terrace, Homestead, Florida 33030. So, good evening, council members, mayor. I'm here today grateful for everything you've done for the community everything you've done for Southern Homestead. And I want to say today, the city of Homestead, it's a small city growing. The future lives here, like everybody says, right? Everybody wants to come here. But it has come to our concern that we already started a project in Complex with the new members of Miami FC coming over, and we're very grateful with this. But to our discretion, it has come to a point that they also want to do the project at Harrisfield Park, and Southern Homestead doesn't agree. We believe that a private identity like them already has sports complex. They're doing a beautiful project over there. They're bringing a professional team, but we believe that the city of Homestead should stay with Harrisfield, our second largest park in Homestead, and we believe that it will be very fair to say that if we do allow them, they will basically monopolize what sports could be. I understand it's a big word, but we think it should be, if they're going to be over there, we respect them over there, and we believe Harrisfield can be formed. We can make it together as a community with the funds, little by little, like we have done in the past, and basically that's why I'm here. We say no to file 5103. And thank you. Those are my 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Molina. Next is Luis Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez. Luis Hernandez?
So I'm going to translate the words that he has. Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, and everyone present. The first thing that comes to my mind as I stand here today is to thank you for the blessings 3 years ago of receiving the city's support by providing us with Harrisfield for the children of our club. Our growth has been significant in every area: soccer development, player development, and enrollment. Last season, we had more than 450 children register between our competitive and our recreational program. I attended a previous meeting where the Miami FC project at Harrisfield was discussed. I saw the model, how beautiful it looks. I also heard the discussions between businesses, a renovated stadium, and other topics, but I never heard the word children. Harrisfield is home to hundreds of children from the city of Homestead who are part of our program. Starting next week, these children will begin playing games in some of the best leagues the state has to offer. We have commitments to these leagues, as well as rules and requirements that we must follow and respect. We have had meetings with Miami FC, but unfortunately, they have been unsatisfactory because they do not have a realistic way to help us, either with our practices or with our competitions. I also heard it said at the meeting that Miami FC was the most realistic option for the future of the park, but I want to tell you, from the bottom of my heart, as someone who has worked in the city of Homestead for more than 20 years, and as someone who for many years woke up every Thursday at 6 in the morning to pray alongside our pastors for this city and for the children, that for the best option for the children of Homestead is not Miami FC. The best option for the children of Homestead is Southern Homestead at Harrisfield. So those are his words.
Thank you. And our next registered speaker, I can make out the first name, I believe it's Vitali. Last name starts with F, with a Palmetto Bay address.
Good evening. My name is Vitaly Falkovich, 9280 Southwest, 167 Terrace, Palmetto Bay. I wanted to say thank you to City Manager and the Mayor for your administration. And Vice Mayor, you guys are doing an amazing job. And our police chief is in my business. I got the contact with the law enforcement, and I think not a lot of law enforcement is doing a great job around South Florida. But I gotta say this, the Homestead is one of the best cities in the law enforcement, especially with trafficking and the other units. You know, when you call them, I had an emergency and I had to call them. It was the quickest response that I received, especially in the Homestead. Thank you so much.
Amy Spadaro. Amy, on down.
Good evening. Amy Spadaro, 1510 Northeast 11th Street, Homestead, Florida, 33033. I'm here because I'm going to take a minute, and then I'm going to give you guys a minute to respond, if you don't mind. I don't care which one of you wants to respond. I'm here because 10 years, we went from a $45 million budget to a $345 million budget. Why are we even considering leasing out anything that belongs to the residents? That park is ours as residents. We pay our tax dollars for that park. I don't understand. There's a lot of things I could go in, but this is about the park today. I miss the YMCA. I miss all the things that we've lost with this park over the years. As the budget grows, we lose more and more things, and it's not okay anymore. I just want you guys to respond, whichever one of you would like to, explain to me why this makes sense to taxpayers. Are we going to lose access to our park? Are we going to lose access for our kids? Whoever wants to go. Go.
If you remain here this evening and hear some of the conversation, those questions will be answered as to why this could be considered an appropriate transaction.
Okay, so it will interfere with our children.
What's that?
It won't interfere with our children and the park that they use now.
That's the plan, and
That's the
we
plan,
believe,
but is
and we
that the
believe,
facts?
and acts. Okay, tonight, and just to put this in perspective, tonight a contract is not before us for approval.
Okay.
We will at a later date, probably the very earliest, September 8th, at best, have the opportunity to review a contract that clearly sets out the proposer's dates and the times of access for the youth leagues and the public in general.
Okay, so we'll be able to review that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There is no contract. We're not privy to anything. Negotiations are ongoing.
Okay.
Okay? So just so everyone understands, a vote tonight is not to approve an actual agreement. It's to continue in very, Cliff Notes, short explanation. It's to authorize continuing, but it is absolutely not the approval of an agreement tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next. Barney Espinal. Barney, are you here? Did I say it right or did I read it wrong? Okay, good. Thank you.
Hello, good evening,
Welcome.
everybody. My name is Barney Espinal. I live on the southwest side of Homestead. I've been a resident of Homestead for the last 34 years, practically my entire life. I also just took over AYSO with my husband and the rest of my family. And I will be voting no for, or I plead that you vote no for the Harris Field plan. Harris Field has been here for my entire life, right? I've seen the glory days of Harris Field. I've seen it kind of dwindle away little by little. And yes, it does need an uplift and like a facelift. It does. 100% it does. But I think it needs a facelift that we have control over. AYSO was out in at the sports complex, and we've had some challenges there with things not being in writing and us having to figure out where we were going to put the kids at some point. And now, thankfully, we got in the room with the right people. We got the meetings that we needed to have. Thank you, Mr. Zeri, for that. But it didn't come without a headache. It didn't come without not knowing where we were going to put this 135 and counting amount of kids when we had been at the sports complex for 34 years. This would have been the 35th, or this is going to be the 35th because we will be there, thank God. We don't want to see Southern go through the same thing. We need to look at the details. We need to have things in writing. We need to make sure that the kids come first, because it's not just about filling the space and having them play. It's about making sure that they're going to stay there. It's about making sure that there isn't going to be a gap where they don't know where they're going to go, right? We need to slow down. We need to figure out if there are other ways that we can give Harrisfield an uplift, that we can give everybody what they want without losing control of the only other big sports field that we have here in Homestead, because we only had two and we lost control of one. So I plead, I beg you to just slow down a bit and to hear everyone in the room, to hear the concerns of the residents, and to keep the kids in mind first. Because it's not just about them playing. It's about the community we built. It's about the legacy that we built. And it's about the longevity that we have here as residents. It's not about now. It's about what's going to happen 20 years from now. What other Barney Espinal is going to be here saying that she's been here for most of her life, and what is she going to remember from being able to play at Harrisfield or any other parks that we have here in Homestead? So just think about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilman Roth.
Just a question. Barney, where are you?
Just, right. Councilman Roth had a question.
I have a question. We don't normally do this, but this is a pretty big topic, so I wanted to have a few minutes to ask you.
If you could come on back.
You can, if you don't mind. Do you need a special device?
Okay. Go ahead, Councilman.
Now you said, well, first of all, let me start off by saying, I don't know if you know what I've done for AYSO over the years.
Just got in the role. I know nothing. I'm learning as I go.
For many years, when Nelson was there, I would donate $1,000, $2,000 a year to help sponsor children, specifically in the AYSO program. Okay, so that's coming from a personal side of me. Same with Southern Homestead Soccer Academy, right? I just gave you guys money to take your children to Utah, not from the city budget, not from anything city-related, from my heart. So I wanted to say that, to ask this question. Now, you said you met with, finally, the SPH people.
Yes.
And they're now accommodating your needs.
Yes.
Okay. So I think one of the issues we've had is the open line of communication between each of the individual organizations. Because I know SPH will do anything and everything they can to accommodate our children, these soccer leagues. They pushed back construction so that Homestead and South Dade could host their home games,
their final home games,
here at Harris Field. So I think, it's great to see participation. It's great to see everybody coming out tonight. But I think what we're experiencing is a lack of communication.
Agreed.
So can you help the Southern Homestead Soccer League also communicate in the same fashion that you did so these things get worked out? We want to improve Harris Field. We want to add more soccer fields. And can somebody from staff tell me, with this addition, this partnership, how many extra soccer fields are we adding not including the potential of adding more soccer fields when the rodeo grounds are dismantled and moved over to the new facility. Does anybody have that answer?
Councilman, are you asking about Harrisfield or
In total in the city,
Pedro?
how many fields are being added at this point with the construction of Homestead Regional Park? I don't think any will be added at Harris Field because there's only 3 there. They're going to enhance and improve those. But with what they're building out at the regional park, how many fields are we adding?
So at the regional park, there will be 3 fields that will be for the public access, that will be synthetic turf, and I believe they're adding another 3 or 4 fields, if I recall from their site plan, that will be for the other use.
Well, they're all public access at given times.
Yeah, they're all going to be. So how many did we add additionally to what we had out there?
7.
We added 7.
You subtract 2, we added 5.
So
Because
we're
we had
adding-
2 proper ones out there.
So we're adding 5 additional soccer fields. And SPH is making those improvements on their own dime. So I want most of you to understand that you may not understand the whole entire story, but we're all trying to add more facilities and more space for our children to play, not to take it away from them. So please understand, we've been dealing with this for months now. And all we want to do is improve it. So I'm so happy you said that you were able to establish communication and get your league worked out so you have the ability to do exactly what you need for your kids. And I want the same for every organization in the city. So with that, I thank you for coming back up and everybody listening to me and hearing me that we are trying to improve. They're going to make an $8 million investment in Harris Field. 9 million?
Closer to 9.
9 million now. So, and that's redoing the Orange Bowl field. That's redoing the fields to the east. So we're really, really trying to bring more, not take away from you guys. That's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you.
May
Sure.
I answer? Okay. So, yes, we want to add more for the kids. The problem here is the timeline, which is why I continuously said we need to slow down. Okay? We only know what we're doing for this season. We have no idea what we're going to do in the spring. We have no idea where we're going to go in the spring. We were attempted to be given Roscoe Warren so that we can finish out maybe a year or 2 depending on how long construction works, because contracts say one thing, but the weather in Florida is kind of finicky, so that goes with a grain of salt. But we still don't know what we're going to do in the spring because we don't know when ground is going to break. So now what are we going to do with the kids that are now going to have to play for in the spring? We don't know where we're going to go. We don't want that to happen to Southern. Okay, so that's why I said we need to iron out the details. We need to get other competitors to come in and say, okay, maybe this plan will work better, or we can go look for other funds. There are things that we can do, and I think we all just need to slow down. I do agree, though, that we do need to open up the lines of communication much better, that we all need to get in a room, we need to get our schedules out and start working together in a much better fashion without having one person call Southern, one person call AYSO, one person calls the city, one person calls the Miami-Dade. Like, we all just need to get together because that's what's going to work. But again, this is the theme of what I'm saying here. We need to slow down.
Understand. So Pedro, let me ask you this. And maybe SPH can help me articulate this better. The fields that AYSO is going to use for their, I guess, their summer league, is it? Or winter
not
league?
Summer, so it's
fall.
spring and fall.
Okay, so but you're set up for this.
Yes, we're
this
set up
time.
for the fall. We need for the spring.
And how many fields do you guys use for that period?
We're only using half of the sports complex right now. So we are on the left side with baseball field number 2 and right behind the concession stand on the left. And Miami FC will have their recreational fields on the right side with baseball field number 1 and the forward-facing soccer fields that are set up.
All right, just so I understand, numbers-wise, how many fields are you guys using right now?
1 field and then the baseball field. That's it.
So 2 fields.
Yes.
How many fields are out there right now?
4.
And then if we allocate 2 fields to you until construction is complete, is that all you need?
As of right now, yes, but if our numbers grow, we might need more.
I understand, and we hope that they do grow, trust me.
Of course.
So, is that something that SPH can accommodate during construction of the Homestead Regional Park? I'm asking SPH. Just to have 2 fields available.
So the short answer is. Come on up,
You have to
Nick.
come to the podium.
But
Steal your thunder. Yes, right now, there are 5 fields total, all of them in poor shape at the
regional.
At the regional park, right? All the fields, the 3 fields at Harris Park are in bad shape. So we're not doing anything at the regional park with those fields that you're currently using. So the short answer is yes. I'm going to introduce Dario, who's been working with y'all to try to explain this. But there's plenty of field space for those programs to be accommodated in the transition while Harris Field is being built. And what you're going to end up with is 5 brand new fields by May of next year, which is more than we have right now.
Right. And so let me ask you this, though. During the Harris Field conversion or improvements, do we have the ability to accommodate Southern Homestead Soccer Academy as well out there at the same time as we are AYSO?
Yes, because it's a phasing in. So first the stadium gets renovated, and those 2 grass fields adjacent will be available to be used. Of course, it'll be a construction site, so we have to secure it. And then as soon as the stadium is renovated, then we're going to go and renovate the 2 fields. One will be converted to artificial turf, and the other one will remain grass. The last phase is when Miami FC relocates to the new stadium at the regional park, the permanent stadium, then that grass field will be converted to turf. So you'll end up with 3 turf fields at Harris Field.
Right.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Good night, everyone. On your last question, yes, it's already, we send them a letter accommodating Southern Homestead Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at SPH Complex. It's in writing.
Out at the Homestead Regional Park. So have you guys, who's in charge of, you are? Have you guys met? Have you guys met each other yet? Have you met with them?
We send a letter, we have a 2-hour meeting.
I would like you to introduce each other to each other. So you,
I
this
know
is the
that-
conversation. This is the
Luis.
communication we're talking about. We
All
need
right.
to have that.
I'm sorry. The communication is there. We met on Friday for the first time.
Okay.
To speak about it for like 3 hours. So they did offer us Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 5 to 9, if I'm not mistaken, because those are our times. What I was explaining to them is that if they're going to be playing Tuesdays and Thursdays, AYSO and Miami FC, and we're going to be playing the other 3 days and Saturday and Sunday, there's games. After 2 to 3 weeks, there's no more fields. Not for them or for us. It's just going to be a pile of dirt. So what I was explaining to him is that we understand the whole accommodation, but we're not there yet. I think we should slow down, do things little by little, right? So, and then at the same time, he was explaining to me that on Saturdays, they're going to accommodate to play the games, correct? For AYSO and for Miami FC recreational program. So I told them, so where are we going to play if we play Saturdays and Sundays? So we have over 23 teams.
They have the answer is on Saturday and Sundays, they have Harris Field adjacent soccer field for them. That's the answer.
So I think, and Mary, you can cut me off whenever you're ready to cut me off. But
Look, you're fine. I don't want them negotiating at the podium.
Yeah, I think that there's an understanding that we want to accommodate everybody. And I think there's a possibility that it all can be accomplished, right? But I think we just need to have more communication. We need to sit down and talk to each other. And so everybody understands specifically. I don't know if they're going to be grass fields. I don't know if they're going to be artificial turf fields. I don't know. Artificial turf shouldn't wear out. But if it is grass, yeah, it's going to be beat up a little bit. I get that. So, but these guys are pros. They're top notch. They're going to make sure that those fields are much better than we could ever keep up. And Pedro, you could probably opine on that these guys are going to do everything so good that and your kids are going to have such a different advantage from other kids coming from other areas, that these fields are going to be in such great condition. I just think we need to get through the hard part, which is working everything out, and the future will be bright for all of us, right? We're all going to be able to accommodate what we need. So, I mean, bringing everybody here tonight, is good. It shows there's some passion for this, but I think the reality of it is we need to get into a room and talk to each other and just map it all out so everybody understands where it's going, how it's going to work out. The unknown is scary for all of us. I get that. It's even scary for me. But I think if we sit down, communicate, we map it out, put it on a piece of paper, shake each other's hands, write it down, sign contracts or whatever, that way there's a definite understanding that this will all work out for everybody.
Mr. Council, I just want to point something out of all the people and the city council.
Pull the mic up.
I'm one of the co-founders of this company who is going to be investing over $300 million. And I'm one of the investors. And I know that her organization needs space for her fridge on Saturdays at our concession stand. That's the level of detail that we're taking care here in this company.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Vice Mayor Bailey?
Thank you. Just one more point before I'm sure most of you are going to leave. When this does come before us later on in the meeting, one of the very first things I said is this sounds wonderful, but we want our grassroots teams and organizations to be able to play how they've been playing. I think a good way, and what I was going to suggest during that discussion, is that anyone who is worried about how that's going to look, give us your schedule. Tell us, this is usually where we practice, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 to 9, games on Saturday and Sunday. And we make a schedule, and we get that as part of that contract if it does go forward. That's what I was going to bring up later, which, go ahead.
So the schedule was given. The schedule was given to them.
I understand that, but we have not looked over what
Correct.
this contract is potentially going to look like. And
Correct.
that is the piece that's going to be a yes or no for me.
Correct.
That's what I was going to bring up later in the meeting. And for you all to rest assured, that's all we want. If we need to wait for $8 million to have parks for our kids, for sure. Even in the complex, they're using it during business hours, not when school gets out. That's big for us. We are with you. We don't want, there's no other reason we would do it than for our kids. So rest assured, get your schedules organized so you can share it with us, and that can be part of the negotiations if that goes through. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right. The next registered speaker is Ramiro Orta. Mr. Orta, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are you today? Ram Orta, 2040 Southeast 19th Street. I'm here in support of the community that you see behind me. Just like them, I was born and raised in Homestead. I played in all these leagues, maybe not AYSO, but I played for Dade Conley, Homestead Little League, and I even coached. I coached at Dade Conley, AYSO, and the other leagues as well. The reason why I am here is to ask you to please do not go forward with this plan or listen to my alternatives. I do know that some of the issues is finding funding to fund these parks and what have you. But I just have a couple of questions, and you don't have to answer it now. But several years ago, I was here and I asked a specific question as to a fee when it came to the utilities, the POS fee that we are charged to make a payment. And I was informed that that fee goes to public parks. Where's those funds at? The other thing is, in regards to entertaining both sides, there's a park that needs a lot of attention. And if this entity wants to invest that much money, why not invest in Roscoe Warren? The fields out there are completely empty, unutilized. At least $1 million of that almost $9 million can resurface that turf, and both leagues can utilize those parks until they figure something out. The other thing is utilizing our resources that we have now. The gym in Harris Field. Why can't we rent that out to social events where those funds can be reinvested back into the parks? Okay? Well, and then one more thing, and I know my time's up, and I apologize for that, but every year we meet and we discuss a budget. There's one department that gets the major of the budget, and that's HPD, Homestead Police Department. Last year, HPD signed an agreement or joined an agreement of 287. Why not do dollar for dollar? Whatever funding they receive from the 287 this year, why not match it and put it back into parks? That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next registered speaker is, I believe it's Juan Angel, an address in Kendall. Mr. Angel?
Juan Angel, 6274 Southwest 165th Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33193. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I want to be clear from the beginning. I'm not here to oppose Miami FC. I'm here to advocate for Harris Field and the community that calls that home. Tonight's question is not whether the $8.9 million investment sounds beneficial. The question is whether it is in the public interest to move forward with this particular proposal without a competitive process or not. And I believe there's still important questions that deserve to be answered before making that determination. SPH has already been approved, the other park, and they are building a beautiful stadium and a beautiful school, beautiful facility. That's all great. But why does the same organization need a long-term commitment to Harris Field, where they can commercialize and run all operations on the facility as well? We need to be able to see what other players can provide in competition to that to give everybody a fair opportunity to compete in the bid process. Right now, the operator says that about 40 they're going to do about 40 events a year, and we still have no defined use for the current organizations that are there. Harris Field isn't an empty facility that's waiting for activation. We currently have tackle football, we have soccer, we have flag football that nobody has even mentioned that's coming up in January. They're going to be possibly displaced unless there's an alternate. We need to make sure that community access is preserved. I'm not asking you to reject Miami FC. I'm asking you to protect the community's leverage with this whole negotiation. I also came to light that there is still an active contract with the Orange Bowl from 2017. What is the city doing to protect that contract with the Orange Bowl? In 2017, the city received about correct me if I'm wrong, about $2 million to fix the stadium. Why can't we go back to that organization and do it now? Every year they revitalize fields with their legacy project. I was hoping that the World Cup would have done that here for us, but guess what? We didn't get anything here. I want you guys to protect the community and your asset. You don't know what this asset can become in the future. Thank you.
Okay. Next is, looks like Karani Hall, the Southeast 35th Terrace address. Welcome, Mr. Hall. Come on down.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
My name is Dr. Carney Hall. I'm a true Homesteadian. I went to Campbell Drive Junior High, Campbell Drive Elementary, Homestead Senior High. We haven't talked about the kids, so I'm going to represent the children. Discipline, accountability, essential in physical, mental health, and social benefits. Everything that we're lacking today, everything that I give out medication for. Harrisville used to be for baseball, football. I played for Homestead Senior High. I played for Dick Conley all those years. Because of Harrisville, I became Dr. Hall. It formed me into the man that I am today. Have you guys seen the movie Odyssey or read the book Trojan, the Odyssey with the Trojan horse? Beware of those gifts that they give. Because from what I understand, these 53 years I've been living, nothing is for free. So, I mean, I have daughters that can read over the contracts. Do y'all have a lawyer to read over the contracts? Are they going to give us something and then let us down later, or is this going to be a continuous thing? Because I don't see football out there like I used to. I see things that you have to pay money for. I have to pay money for my daughter to play soccer. I would have never been a soccer player. Family, let's keep it at Homestead. I love the things you're doing. You're building our city. Everything is clean. You need to make the streets a little bit bigger because traffic is hell. But make it about the children. They're lacking on certain things. Let's keep it family. If they want to donate because they already have a part of Homestead, don't give them all of Homestead unless you guys already had. Unless you guys already made the deal. But if the deal isn't made, make sure we get something out of it. Because this Trojan horse coming in, we're the family in the back of the wall.
Okay. If you can wrap it up.
We're the family in the back of the wall. Please protect the family. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. All right, next is Anna Ponce. Was Ponce? Ponce? At 161 Northwest 9th Street. Anna Ponce, okay. Next is Brandy Ramirez. Brandy, Ms. Ramirez?
Good evening, Brandy Ramirez, 2231 Southeast First Street. I have something written that I will share after I speak from the heart. I'm born and raised here in Homestead. Everybody up here knows me. We've worked together. I've worked with each single person that's sitting right here in front of me. I know your hearts. I know some secrets too. But the hearts is what shines. And so I'm speaking and pleading to those hearts. Because behind me, that's the future. Behind me, those are the taxpayers and residents that when I contacted them and asked them, they voted for you. When you called and contacted me and asked me, let's help out this person to get into council seat. Let's help them get into Oasis. Let's do some change. Well, these are the people that helped me do that. While some of you women up here were viciously attacked. Mailer after mailer after mailer. And that's the head person that's leading this charge right here. Leading the charge with the private entity that already took majority of our city. So this room, I asked it to be filled, and as you can see, it's very, very filled. But it's filled for a reason. It's their future. They're fighting for scholarships. They're fighting for future opportunities. And the volunteers are the coaches. They're the parents. I coached at Harrisfield for many years. It's not about the plaques that we hang on our walls for coaching. It's about the change that we make, the effect that we make in children's lives. So I believe, and I ask them because nobody usually comes here. They say, why should I go there? We can't trust them. They say one thing when they want to vote or when they want a seat, then they change it. So I'm asking tonight, prove to them why they can trust you. And why they voted for you was to protect Homestead for them. As you see the signs, they're asking you, vote no tonight. Shut it down. Let's not waste no more time. But let's also put the facts out there. There's $259,000 that was paid to a consultant. Let the consultant do their job. You've already given that money. That $259,000 could have went to the turf, but it didn't. But it didn't. So I want to really, truly show tonight to them that the people that I told them that they can trust, and I'm going to say those names. I'm going to say it tonight. They can trust Larry Roth. This is for the kids. That's why those signs say this is for the kids. And they are the kids here. Erica Avila, who fought for this when it first came as an unsolicited contract. Jennifer Bailey, Vice Mayor, who will be our future mayor. And Sean Fletcher. They can count on Sean Fletcher because he listens to the people. He listens to the residents. Now, I will say this. They voted for you, Kim Konski. We hope you will vote tonight for them. I will tell you, tonight, these taxpayers and kids, they're going to hear you. And they want to hear a no. And I ask Clemente Canabat to please join us tonight. Unite with the vote. Vote with us. Vote for the people. You wanted to sit in the seat. Prove tonight you earned it. Vote no. And for the mayor of Homestead, you once told me, we once spoke, and you said, Brandy, I know you care for this city. I know you love this city. So do I. So guess what? Tonight, prove it that you love it. Vote no tonight. It's your last year as mayor. Let's make it impactful. Let's care about these children. I'll be fast. I'm sorry I took up the time, but good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I'm asking you to vote no, CAR 5103. Harrisfield is not an empty piece of property waiting for a vision. It already has a purpose. It serves our children, our schools, our leagues, our families, and our community. And the city is already spending taxpayer dollars on a community-driven process to plan the future of Harrisfield, $259,000. So my question tonight is simple. Why make this determination now? Why move on an unsolicited proposal forward before completing the city's own master plan process? There is also a financial impact that cannot be overlooked. When our schools and organizations play at Harrisfield, those games can generate ticket sales, concessions, merchandise sales, and fundraising. Their programs, they're going to lose that. They're going to lose the transportation. While this construction phase goes on, it is affecting them. Let's state the facts. 2 of AYSO coaches, they're now on payroll for the MFC. That's a major, major change. Am I right or am I wrong, children? That's why there's no trust. There is no trust. The trust was broken already by those actions. Please vote with these families. Vote for the children. Thank you for your time.
And one day those secrets will no longer be secret, Brandy. Our next speaker is Michael Fuentes. Michael Fuentes, are you here, Mr. Fuentes? Hilda Fuentes. Either one of the Fuenteses. Okay? Next we have Pamela Humphrey. Ms. Humphrey, are you here? Welcome. Good evening. Come on down.
Good evening. Pamela Humphrey, East Homestead, or as Mirage Eyes the Voices. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, Council members, and city staff. When I came to Homestead almost more than a decade and a half ago, I did 3 things. I went to motor vehicles on Chrome. I went to the library to get my library card, and I went to Harris Field with its beautiful trees and amenities that it offered to someone like me. In spite of the protestations made on August 6th by the petitioners, Miami FC will have almost exclusive rights to use the park every day of the week, plus game days for Miami FC, U20, U18, and other academy teams, plus tournaments, plus concerts, plus an amorphous, nebulous 50 days a year additional, and that is only about, it could go up to 365 days a year, because it's either 50, less, or more. And we know it won't be less. Not one of that, not a penny of that revenue or income that Miami FC will enjoy redounds to the Homestead people, the Homestead community at all. Or I hope I am mistaken in saying that. So, that's my time. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity for you hearing my voice.
Thank you. All right, next is, and I think the first name is Damaris. Maybe it looks like Tongos on 293rd Street. Are you here?
Damaris Turgos.
Damaris Tugos?
Turgos.
Okay. Phil Air. I know I saw Phil here earlier.
Good evening, Phil Air, 8962 Southwest 142nd Avenue, number 1219, and I just want to say what a great spirit of a town here. I don't live in Homestead, but you all need to be very proud of yourselves for showing up, for participating, and for engaging in a really, there's good hearts up here, there's good leadership around, and there's great leadership in the audience. The question here today on the agenda to my reading is twofold. One is a public determination of good, public good, and two is the authority to proceed with a no big contract process. And clearly, something has gone wrong because everybody showed up. So the communications issues that you identified, okay, they need to be worked on. For the sake of my own edification and perhaps the audience, you all will know these very well. But let me just read about 6 questions that when the process goes through, if you proceed, and you might not, I think you probably will not, you're going to want to have in writing some responses to questions like that gentleman offered earlier, and I'll repeat some of them. The value to taxpayers. Has the city obtained an independent valuation of what a 30-year concession to operate Harris Field is worth, including naming rights, sponsorship, concessions, premium seating, and commercial events? If not, how can the council determine the public value is fair? Regarding public access, can the city guarantee Homestead's youth sports organizations, schools, residents have meaningful access to Harris Field, not simply whatever remains after Miami FC and the commercial events are scheduled? I think you're pretty much on the road to answering that. That's great with the scheduled talk. The 30-year term, why does approximately $5.4 million justify facilities leased for 30 years? What analysis has been done for a period of 15 years, 10 years, 20 years? And what's the value for Homestead, and which timeline is best? What's the best deal? Who bears the downside, and who bears the upside if this project succeeds or it falls short? Thank you.
And our last registered speaker looks like Rebecca Jessica from Somerset High. Rebecca?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rebecca Turney, 83 Northwest 3rd Street, Homestead, Florida, 33030.
I'm Jessica Peña, 1837 Northeast, 2nd Court.
Hi, good evening. We are actually here unrelated. I have actually 2 kids, so I am also supporting the vote no for the park as well. But I'm actually here to speak on behalf of our daughters, Ashley and Allison, who attend Somerset Preparatory Academy by Commerce Park. And we are here basically asking and looking for support for our daughters in the sponsorships for their dance. They're actually 2 beautiful dancers. They've been dancing for many years. They attend a studio and as well as a school team. So unfortunately, you know, competitive dancing can be very expensive, and due to financial hardships, lots of kids don't continue. So we are actually here representing our children to see if there's any way, you know, we're residents of the city, to get some kind of support for our girls. And so that's why we're here.
So in that regard, if you could leave any information you have or give your contact information to our city clerk, who will circulate it to our council assistants to be individually distributed among the 7 of us for consideration.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I did want to add one last thing regarding my son Charlie, who's very enthusiastic about soccer. I think I'm not ashamed to say that Charlie had a rough patch growing last couple years, and soccer really did help him. And I think that's something that, you know, the community does for him that's positive. So I think that by having that opportunity with the park and the services there, it's very important. It does impact the kids. So that's why I support no.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else wishing to make public comment who had not registered? Is there anyone else? Sure, come on down.
Hi, good evening. My name is Elizabeth Steege. I was a volunteer coach in AYSO for many years. I was also on the board with Tim Norton and Sam De La Rosa. I also played in the 90s. Actually, this gentleman took my word. I'm a true Homesteadian. I graduated from Southgate Senior High. But I am here today because I am fighting for not only just my girl team that's sitting right there, and that they are the only Homestead competitive girl team that we do have here in Homestead, but also the all soccer leagues. Last Thursday, there was a workshop, and if it wasn't for me stating what happened to us, AYSO would have no field to play at. They were offered Roscoe Warren because they were told that their fields were too dangerous because they were going to be breaking ground. That was a lie. We had an email from my MEFC offering their fields to us. And if I didn't show up at that workshop last Thursday, nobody would know that. And AYSO would not have their fields this season. Just because of that one lie, I do not trust these investors. I'm sorry, there's more to it. We have to think about our community and our children, and I don't believe monopolizing Homestead would be it. So please look at this crowd that came out. These children are our future. They mean everything to all of us. Please support us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else wishing to speak? Anyone else?
Right. Thank you for having me up here. I am actually from Kendall.
Let's have your name and address
I'm
first.
sorry. Ariel Borge, 14453 Southwest 152 Place. Just a little bit background. I am from Kendall, but my kids have been playing down here. And looking at, I work for the government as well. So knowing how transparent and how bureaucratic these processes can be, it's really the biggest process that we have is transparency. As you public figures, as you're taking this oath on these chairs, is the most you can do is be transparent with the people that you serve. So when these investors come in here privately proposing all these big monies, thank you for the fridge that he mentioned, it does do nothing long term. Because as we have seen with the Inter programs, with the Inter stadium program down in Miami, that was a mess. We saw what happened with the Marlins Stadium, how that became a mess. And this gentleman brought up a good case. Who's going to be in charge of all these things if they prosper or they go downfall? These individuals down here are the ones who are going to be actually down here. So it seems like as if it's a push to get the bigger gap between Homestead and what the companies can bring here. That's going to bring a social and a big problem. Actually might even increase rates because now you're going to have people more on the streets. You're going to have kids not being having resources that they should be available through their city, through the place where they have been raised. So I think that is, again, the biggest point that I leave here to you guys is that when it comes to these private organizations, whether it's Lennar or whoever's justifying all these back ends with you guys, that you guys maintain as much transparency as you can with the people that you serve. So when it comes to the scheduling, the money, the things that are resources, that needs to be put down for a good vote and as transparent as it possibly can. So hopefully you guys can live with that and have, live with yourselves with that. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
I hope that you vote no. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank you and the board for this opportunity just to say a few words. My father and my children have all played sports at Harrisfield.
Well, tell us who you are first. We got to have your name and address.
My apologies. My name is Nathan Mankiewicz. Been a government employee. Coincidentally, my focus over the years is election security. But my father, my children, and myself been a resident of Homestead going on, counting the three of us, 50 years. The overwhelming majority in here you see is soccer, but I think there are other aspects that are involved with baseball and the expansion of Little League and HPSA and those folks down there, which is growing tremendously. I think getting down to brass tacks, it's the devil in the details. I think we're all for coming in and cleaning up and giving it a facelift, but as it was previously stated, just to scale down and slow down and take a specific look at where are these girls going, where are these boys going, where's football going, are the fields adequate for these children? I think that's really where it's going, is just to take a step back and make sure that it's not just giving scraps to the kids that could potentially get injured. I know for a fact, playing on some of the options that have been thrown out there, those fields are in horrendous shape. And so I think that's kind of where we're at. It's just to scale it back, slow down, take a look at are the options adequate? And so the devil's in the details. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, last chance. Anyone else? Guys, come on down.
Hello, Matthew Delgado, 1972 Southeast 24th Avenue, 33033.
Welcome.
Marco.
Okay. Go ahead, which one?
Okay. My name is Matthew Delgado, and I'm a player at Southern Homestead Soccer Academy, U17 Elite. And we're here to talk about how we want to vote no on this proceeding of the transactions you're doing with Miami FC. And we just want to say that 3 years ago, the city allowed us to use Harris Field to train and play. And today we're here once again, but this time to defend what was given to us. Over these 3 years, Southern Homestead has changed the vision that all teams in Miami-Dade and Broward County had of terms from Homestead. Through victories and championships, the children of Homestead have gone from being embarrassed as Homestead clubs were in previous decades to proudly and with great dignity wearing the Southern Homestead crest. The children have grown tremendously in the sport of soccer. In fact, for the first time in the history of our city, which had never had a team qualify for nationals, we not only took one, but 2 teams to Utah to compete in the national championships.
Today, within the soccer community, we have earned the respect of everyone. Because of this, next year we are very serious candidates to become part of the MLS League, the highest possible level of soccer in the country. By the way, while we were in Utah, we did not see a single Miami FC team. With all the fields of strategic location they have in the city, Miami, including Tamiami Park, where they can train and play, as well as the supposed amount of money they have available to invest. Do you know why they did not have a single team in Utah? And do you know why Southern Homestead is stronger than them across all different youth age groups? Let me tell you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, it is because the organization is only interested in the business side and its professional adult team. They have never worked, do not, and will not work properly with children because it is neither their priority nor their interest. Even the sports university they are going to build at the sports complex is completely oriented toward bringing in foreigners rather than young people from our city. And this understandable given extremely high costs that those who attend will have to pay. That business is already established, and congratulations to them. But when it comes to our children from Homestead, please keep that separate and far away from Harris, Field, and Southern Homestead.
Thank you. Thank you. So with that, I will close the public comment section of the agenda this evening. In that regard, if there are no objections from council, I would like immediately to move forward and have the discussion and deliberation on tab 5 so that we can go forward and all you guys can go back to practice or go home and do your homework while we stay here. So, Mr. Attorney, tab 5.
Tab 5 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, making the public interest determination required by Section 2550653C Florida statutes with respect to the unsolicited public-private partnership proposal submitted by VSGS Facilities LLC, DBA Sports Performance Hub, for the renovation, improvement, operation, maintenance, and programming of a portion of Harris Field Park, determining that the city may proceed with the unsolicited proposal without a public bidding process, adopting the findings required by Section 2550653C Florida statutes, directing the publication of the report required by Section 2550653D Florida statutes, providing that final approval of definitive agreements remains subject to further City Council approval and all applicable statutory requirements, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Pearl. Now, I think you wanted to address some of the, in less legal terms, the implications of this item and explain some of the changes to the amended, the substitute item that was distributed.
I'll speak to the purpose of this item. When the city received the proposal, it was presented to council, and at that time, council directed us, there's two potential paths to travel under the statute. Council directed staff to proceed under the non-competitive process, which requires 2 public hearings. The first public hearing allowed public comment. That was held last month. This is the second statutorily required hearing and finding, which is that you have reviewed the proposal and its components and determined that it's in the best interest to proceed without a competitive process. It will not be the last time that you see an item related to this. There's no formal agreement for approval tonight. This is the next statutorily required step to proceed under this process.
Correct. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, as I mentioned earlier, tonight an affirmative vote would be to continue to go forward, and the concerns, to the extent they remain viable, would be addressed and subject to public discussion and deliberation at such time as the contract comes before us.
Yes, that contract will be back before the council for its consideration, and there'll be public participation. It'll be at an open hearing.
Right. And hypothetically, I guess, a vote not to proceed, a defeat of the proposed resolution would end this discussion, and there would be no improvements to Harris Field in the near future, the foreseeable future. Well, that's editorializing, but it would end this process.
It would end the non-competitive process, and then what the council chooses to do from there, the council chooses. But this would be the end of this road.
Right. Okay, so with that, I'd like to give the representatives of the proposer the opportunity to come to the podium, perhaps address any of the comments that have been made tonight, and on the record, provide the assurances of what will be their obligation in any contract that comes before us for approval. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Javi Vasquez with the Gunster Law Firm. Our offices are at 600 Brickell Avenue. I'm here representing the SPH Group. And I want to just make sure that you're clear that we didn't necessarily come to make a presentation. We've made numerous presentations. I think the entire council, the entire community is very comfortable with what the proposal is. As you mentioned, Mayor, there are ongoing negotiations. We look forward to eventually having a contract that's brought to this council. Tonight we look at this and we're here to watch you all deliberate and take a vote on that one statutory box that's left, which is the finding of public purpose. I know that my client's going to have some words now because he has been hearing some of the comments, and he would like to just give a brief, have a quick conversation with you guys about some of the things that have been said. But we look forward to a favorable vote to allow this to continue forward. The only thing that I'll say for the record that has happened since our last time that we were here is that the investment amount of up to $5.4 million has been increased to up to $8.9 million because of specific commitments that are being made not just for the stadium, but for the two fields. And once again, we hope you'll support and make a finding of public purpose tonight. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Sakevich.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thanks. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council members. Just a few things I want to go on the record because it was seems like a bit of a misinformation campaign going in around here. We don't need to do this. We want to do this for the city of Homestead. We have never said, nor is it represented in the proposal, that we are taking anything away. The proposal is adding an improvement to a park that desperately needs it. We have engaged with the football programs, with the soccer programs, and we've never said that we're taking anything away. On the contrary, we've been very committed to finding a place for them, and they have. We have plenty of not so good fields to put them while we construct this thing. And when we construct it and it's open, we're encouraging everyone in the community to come and use it. So I just want to go on the record that we don't need to do this. We want to do this for Harris Park. If everybody finds that it's not appropriate or you don't want it, that's okay, because we're building 7 brand new soccer fields at the regional park and a stadium for a professional team. And again, that will be available to the community too. As you guys know, we have that in our agreement, and we'll encourage all these kids who are aspiring soccer players to come play. And if you double the size of your club, we would be very excited about that. So, on behalf of our investors, we have outstanding reputations in the industry, in basketball, soccer, tennis, baseball, football. You can look up our website and see who we are. And we're trying to do something good here. So I want to say that on the record. If you all don't want the $9 million that we're going to put into Harris Park, we will put it into the regional park. And I just want to finish by saying I've built 6 soccer stadiums in my career. This is the first soccer stadium where I've had the soccer community not want us in town. And that's kind of sad for me. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. No, the supporters of this and the proposers of this sat quietly and politely while each and every one of you spoke. And we expect and demand the same from you. And if you can't live with that, this nice police officer over here will help you find the door. And that's no joke. We will have respectful debate with everybody having the opportunity to express their opinion, no matter how egregious it may be to someone else. So with that, let me open this up to council for any questions or comments they may have to any party who would like to open the conversation. Councilman Fletcher.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I thank everyone for coming out tonight. I believe that there's a lot of information that has been said. Some of it may be true, some of it may be false. For the record, again, tonight is not an approval of any type of agreement. We have not been privy to those negotiations that we've authorized the professional staff here to perform. So we still have that information to come to us to have a vote in the future. Again, I think there was a lot of misinformation in some of the discussion that was had earlier. I'm not the smartest mathematician up here, but the way I see it, you currently have 2 fields available to you at the Harris Field Park. You have 2 fields available to you to use at the Homestead Regional Park. That's not changing. Those fields are going to be available to you while this construction is going on at either facility. So that's misinformation right there. There's 2 fields still available. The same amount of fields we have today are going to be available if we decide to move forward with this project. We talk about Homestead, the future lives here. If you don't build for the future is not going to live here. It's going to die here. You have to expand and improve. We all have growing pains in things that we do. Sometimes there's going to be a little bit of discomfort when you have to not be able to do something for a period of time. But in the end, we're going to have a facility, potentially a facility, if we move forward, that's going to be better than anything else in South Florida. How can you not be for that? That just amazes me. As Mr. Sakevich said, this is the first time he's ever been to a community meeting where they voted no, or people are in the audience not supporting a brand new soccer facility that's going to be beneficial for all these youth in here. I played youth soccer, I played youth baseball, football. I would have loved to have a facility like this. Absolutely loved to have it. Again, we have not seen the deals of the negotiated contract, so we're not voting on that tonight. We're voting on just the premise of moving forward to have this opportunity to look at that document. And when that document comes, we may say, hey, this isn't the best deal for Homestead. But for years, people have come to Homestead and taken advantage of us, and usually for the wrong reasons. They're here asking for money. They're asking for things from the city of Homestead. These people are here offering money to the city of Homestead. Yes, I know there's always something towards the end that they may be looking for a return on their investment, as they should. But the city of Homestead residents, we have hard financial times. Everybody knows when you go to the gas pump, it costs more. Food costs more. We're not able to support some of these improvements that we desperately need here in the city of Homestead. Our fields are substandard right now. And it's not for the lack of trying or the good people that work in the Parks Department. They do a great job with what they have. But now we have the opportunity to have absolutely 100% professional grade fields for all of you kids to utilize. Think about that. It's not just, no big bad business is coming into town. You have to look at all the details. Somebody said it, the devil's in the details. I haven't seen all the details yet. You have to give us that opportunity. I don't see this as a takeover. Everything I've heard from my discussions is they're going to actually be able to reprogram what we currently have and make more fields available. The consultant that we did pay $260,000 to has said this is one of the best things that could happen to the city of Homestead and for parks in the South Florida region. I'm not the professional, he is. They have said that to each and every one of us, I believe, in our private meetings. So tonight I'm looking forward to moving this portion forward so I can get to the details because I was elected to this seat to represent my community. And they've given me that trust. And I talk to the residents in my community and throughout the city of Homestead. And they're looking for me to make these hard decisions. And this is a decision I'm willing to make forward tonight. And with that, I will rest and let the rest of my colleagues have their discussions. Believe me, your comments are loud and clear tonight. But I have to look out for the fiscal responsibility for not only the people that pay taxes right now in this town, but the ones that are going to move here in the future and continue to move this city that used to be 15,000 people when I was a kid here, that's now close to 100, with the same park facilities pretty much that we've had back in those days to now. We have to find a way to move forward. This is a potential way to do that without any additional taxing on our current citizens. With that, I'll let the rest of the board talk.
Thank you, Councilman Fletcher and Vice Mayor Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to take this opportunity. I'm talking to all of you kids. Look at you sitting here at City Hall making a difference. Anytime you see something in your city that you are not happy with, you need to remember tonight, and you better come back and you better voice your opinions. I'm super proud of everybody for coming out. So, Councilman Fletcher, you took a lot of the words out of my mouth. The one other piece that I want to make sure you all understand is tonight is us voting on being able to look at a potential contract. It's true, we do not know what those negotiations look like yet, but from day one when this came to us, we have been incredibly clear, like we were with the sports complex, is that during our regular park hours when our children are not in school, that this is still a private park. If that is not part of this negotiation, it is not going to be a yes from me. And I know it's not going to be a yes from a lot of people. All of these questions that have come up today, I hope that you can all at least watch that next meeting. I promise you that we are going to make sure that all of those are addressed and clarified. That is the most that I can do right now. The only reason that I am also going to be a yes today is so that we can see what it is going to look like. If it is not what we want to see, it is not going to be a yes. For me personally, Harris Field is the only big park, especially on the west side. I'm incredibly happy for the east side people getting their big sports complex. But me as a parent, I would not drive to the east side to take my kids to sports. We need something here on the west side where we can still enjoy all of these wonderful resources for our kids. So that specifically is going to be my thing. It doesn't matter if you get a field over at the sports complex. I still want to protect what our kids here in the west, on the west side, are able to get to easily. So that's all I have for now. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilman Roth. She said you wanted to be next.
Oh, well, I'll go next. It doesn't matter. I pretty much said all I was going to say earlier. I just wanted the communication to get better between the organizations and the operator. I know there's a win-win for everybody in the city. I'll echo a lot of what Fletcher said tonight. I'm sorry, Councilman Fletcher said tonight. That, you know, we haven't seen the agreement, and trust me, if it's not what's best for you, I won't be a yes vote when that time comes. But tonight, in order for us to even get to that point, we have to move it forward so we can see what the details are going to be. And as I said, if it's not what's best for you, it won't be a yes vote for me at the end. That's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Roth. Councilwoman Avila, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to everybody who's here tonight for speaking your mind and having the courage to do so. It's not easy to stand up at the podium by yourself and give your 2-minute speech. It's reassuring to me as an elected official sitting here that a lot of the stuff that I heard tonight echoes what I've said in the last previous meetings relating to this topic. And if anybody who knows me, I have been kind of disconnected the last couple of weeks with Family Matters. So this is all here organically, and people talking to each other in community, coming out to represent themselves and to represent the people that they know and that they love. You all are the boots on the ground, and you're the parents and the coaches and the kids that are playing on the fields. We have to listen to what you're experiencing. I have never been against the proposal in its essence. We want to bring the opportunities and the investments and the programming and the legacy and all the things that Miami FC and their investors and their expertise can bring to the city. But what I have been against is the rushed process. If this is not something that has to happen now, then why are we rushing this? Why are we not allowing our consultants who, when I did my one-on-one, I did not hear a lot of what I've heard with regards to it being the best thing for Homestead. I heard that, well, if you take that piece of the puzzle out of the whole puzzle, it's less that you have to worry about to envision and redesign. So yeah, in a sense, that's a positive. But that's the heart of what Harris Field is, are these fields. And so I really can't sit here tonight and support a proposal that is going to eliminate competitive bidding, which is something that I've also echoed that I would like to see happen. And let us take our time in evaluating what is our vision, what can we do to improve the fields, are the fields in the right spot, do we want to expand them or keep them the same size? We don't know, we haven't done that process yet. And you know, I have not seen the new proposal, but I've seen some of the items in the resolution where it talks about, you know, up to almost $9 million. That doesn't mean they're going to guarantee and spend $9 million. It's an up to. So if they spend, what, $5 million, we're still back to the original proposal. Am I correct in that the verbiage is that, up to $9 million? Or is there a guarantee of that investment?
Well, there's not a guarantee, and they can speak to this. The reason that it was up to is because they haven't gone through a bidding process. They can't say exactly what's going to be there. So that's based on an estimate. The cost would be verified at the time the work was done, if that's where we get.
Right. So essentially the plan would be to say, yes, proceed, and then you can tell us what you spent and what you invested. And so that doesn't necessarily make sense to me as being the best way to go about doing business when it comes to the assets that our city has. I would love to see the Sports Performance Hub be completed, love to see the investment come to fruition and to actually hear that the feedback is things are great. Our scheduling is not being impacted. One of my major concerns with the Sports Performance Hub was making sure that public access and scheduling was not going to be impacted. Then a letter was circulated that City of Homestead is not going to do any scheduling for you, contact SPH. Then that was retracted, and now, okay, no, it's still City of Homestead organizing and scheduling your practices. And yet still we're hearing that communication and scheduling issues continues to be a challenge. I'm not saying that everything is perfect. There's always room for improvement, but what I'm saying is let's see how things come out of the development of the Sports Performance Hub, and the proof is in the turf. The proof is in the pudding. Let's see how everything works out before we give them another huge piece of the heart of Homestead in our parks. I'm not saying, no, we don't want your investment. I'm saying let's finish what we started with our consultants. Let's make it competitive. Why not? We're not in a rush. the city of Homestead has not been filling up the chambers demanding investments in Harris Field. We have been content with what we have. We are humble. We don't want to let control go. This is the people's park, and the people can trust us, and they trust our staff to do what we need to do with our parks and our scheduling. And we will not have that control. When I say we, the city, the residents, the people who use the park will not have that control. That control now lays with a private entity, and that's the concern. The trust is not there yet. I'm not saying that they're not going to do right. I'm not saying that they're not going to do what they say they're going to do. But as we can see, the faith is not in this process yet. And I'd like to be able to vote on this item unanimously and approval for it in the future once we've checked more boxes with vetting the process and vetting the overall benefits for the community. The letters of support that were in that previous presentation, I'm guessing those are null and void now, because there were support letters from AYSO, there were support letters from Southern Homestead Academy, there were support letters from the consultant who I questioned them on, and they said, well, that's not necessarily a support letter for the project, it's a letter of analysis that taking that piece of the puzzle out is going to make it easier for us to redesign what's left. That makes sense? So with that, I will rest, but I do believe that moving forward on this item and eliminating the public bidding process or competitive bidding process would be a step in the wrong direction for the Harris Field and the residents of the city of Homestead. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Konski.
Much of what I have to say has been said as well. I am very impressed with the turnout, your attendance, and your passion. But that passion trickles into your athleticism as well. And we're here supporting you and trying to give you something better to make you better students, to make you better athletes, an opportunity that as the city itself, we don't have, back to fiscal responsibility, we don't have the means to do at this level and this degree. Again, I will repeat that the item before us is not to make a decision to go into this marriage, but to continue negotiations. And I'm excited for what can be here. There's a lot of misleading information that concerns me. I agree with Mr. Roth, Councilman Roth, that communication is key. We can go awry in so many ways by not understanding all of the terms or hearsay. It's very important. Yes, the devil's in the details, and we need to get down to the details. So I do support this item because I think this is a huge opportunity. And it's not that we're moving today and that we are breaking ground tomorrow. That's not what's happening here. You're not losing any fields. You're gaining. You're gaining an opportunity, and you're gaining a facility that is state of the art. So I hope you understand that there's more to this vision and what we're presenting to you as athletes and as students and to the community as a whole. This is not a private entity or takeover, which I feel is your concern, is that you're losing your field and we're handing this over to SPH, and that's not the case here. So I'll rest there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, and thank you to all my colleagues. So first I want to say to the athletes that are here, my first council meeting from the seat on that side was a lot more boring than you had tonight, and I know that you will remember this as your first taste of civic engagement for a very long time. But I want to say to the coaches, the parents, and the players, we hear you, but I also hear the toxicity of a very orchestrated campaign of misinformation. There is just a lot of wrong facts out there. And I know several of the speakers come here in good faith. Others don't. There are at least 3 who are officially in political races, and one is ready to join one. So you have to look at the motivations. You know, that's part of earning wisdom from this seat, is kind of parsing through and understanding and analyzing for yourself what you are hearing. And it is very disappointing to me that campaign of misinformation has been so effective. And I hope that tonight and at such time as we have if this goes forward tonight, that in the future, when we all have the opportunity to talk about what progress each league has been able to make with the proposer and those safeguards that are built into a contract, that we will all be on the same page. I think that's very important, and we're not dismissive of that. But the flip side of that also is what I'm hearing is that everyone wants the best field every time at the best time. And in this period of upheaval, where the light at the end of the tunnel is we're going to have something that nobody else in South Florida has, we're all going to be just blown away by what we have. So the upset is temporary. Nobody's being, and I keep hearing the words, thrown out, kicked out. That is just not the case. And as I said, I guess it was last week or the week before when we had the second of 2 public meetings over at the Fraternal Order of Police building over at Harris Field, is that in the interim from the first meeting to the second meeting, many questions had been answered and positively resolved. And other suggestions had been thrown out there to other leagues for paths to resolve their issues. And I'm confident that in the high 90%, everybody is going to walk away happy. I have that element of trust with these proposers. I've seen them in crowds. I've had the opportunity to meet and hear many of the global sports stars who are part of this effort. And I want to say that this is not a process that we've just conjured up out of thin air. This is a process that is set out by statute when we receive an unsolicited proposal. Many of you have heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. Unsolicited is not sinister. It is examined with a microscope in the full light of day, in the public eye, just as if something would have been had we taken a long time to go out and request proposals. And to the concern that we might get better offers if we just threw it out there to the public, trust me, in light of the fact that Homestead is the last frontier in South Florida, and international concerns and investors have eyes on Homestead. And if someone else wanted to do what Sports Hub is proposing, they probably would have been at the podium at our last meeting with a competing proposal. That's how it happens, whether it be other real estate the city owns or a business opportunity in the city of Homestead. Folks who are legitimate and some who are not credible don't sit on the sidelines. In some respects, this is a very specialized operation. And I also think the fact that no one else is here goes to the credibility and the reputation of these proposers. So I ask you quite simply, that if this goes forward tonight, to stay involved and stay informed and take the time to read what's in that contract. Don't pay attention to social media. Don't pay attention to coaches and parents running around with their hair on fire. Read what's in front of you. Know what's been resolved between Sports Hub, the city, and your individual leagues. No one is trying to sneak anything in at any point. I'm confident that we'll have a product that before us to vote on in the future that we can all be proud of. And to echo the comments of, I think, all of my colleagues, that if there's not something in front of us that reasonably addresses everyone's concerns and the best interest of the youth leagues in this community, it will not have my vote either. So I'm going to support moving this forward as well. So we have a motion by Councilman Cannonball to approve this item. Do we have a second? We have a second by Councilman Fletcher. Mr. Pearl?
I just wanted to make sure we are voting on the version with the three minor changes that we discussed. The up to the addition of the Thursday night to Friday night set aside for high school football.
Sure.
And
which was the amended circulated,
yes.
the loose one that's not in the binder.
Yes.
Correct, Councilman? All right, so it's been moved. The revised version presented to us has been moved by Councilman Cannonball and seconded by Councilman Fletcher. Are there any final comments or questions for Council? Yes, Councilwoman Avila.
Thank you, Mayor. And not that I want to hold up the vote, but I do think that it's worth me asking for my understanding and for the clarity of the public. Can you give me at least the top 3 examples of the misinformation that you're saying has been shared? I want to make sure that we can get that clarified.
I hate the terms kicked out, thrown out, or that we don't have fields and that we're giving away control. It's on both sides. The issues of the impact on the leagues as well as the allegations that the city is giving away all or part of Harris Field with respect to control. And that control was clearly delineated in the first proposal and is very similar to what was proposed for Homestead Regional Park that we approved. I think this is a very analogous situation. So, to those who think we're giving away Harris Field and throwing away the legacy of the heart of sports in Homestead is just not accurate. I think the characterization of control and giveaway.
Got it. So while we maintain ownership of the land, the scheduling and the programming calendar, will that be managed and controlled by the City of Homestead staff, or would the programs have to contact the Sports Performance Hub?
I have the same latest information you do that going forward, the non-Sports Hub times will be scheduled through the city. Is that correct, Mr. Manager, to your Parks Director?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. And
again, I must caution that this product is still in negotiation.
Right.
There are no final decisions made. So I just want everyone to exercise caution in making those statements. Nothing has been finalized. Negotiation is still in progress.
correct. And, if there's any question, our staff and our attorneys and Sports Hub are clearly hearing that I think the preference would be going forward at the end of construction that the city is the final arbiter or the scheduling coordinator for all of those fields and times that are not allocated to the Sports Hub programming.
Right. So I think what I think it's also important to acknowledge is that the impression that the public has, it may not be 100% accurate in the sense that no negotiations have been finalized. but these are the concerns that the control and the coordinating and the time scheduling need to be left with the City of Homestead staff. And how much time is left after SPH has their share of the calendar is yet to be determined. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of 40 days, 50 days here and there, but this is what needs to be looked at with the microscope. Okay, thank you.
Certainly. Yes, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I think to your point, for me, as I can think of right now, our only solution would be that the contract states the days and times that SPH would require the field, and for the rest, we are working how we typically do, and it is going through our Parks Department. There shouldn't be any pieces left with SPH to coordinate any youth soccer that continues to go through our parks. So the contract
And our team hears that.
Yes, and our contract will have to be few enough days, obviously from SPH, to be able to accommodate the schedules. So,
and Vice Mayor, if I may, just to also clarify my concerns that I keep echoing is that was my understanding that that's how things were going to be handled with the sports complex. But apparently that has not been the case. And so I really would encourage staff to talk directly with, have our city manager and our parks director talk directly with these head coaches and figure out why is it that it's not until one of the coaches goes to one of our workshops that we're finding out that they weren't going to have a place to play for their season. This needs to be directly communicated with staff, directors, and us being in, that's not the city being in control when I'm hearing things like that. That is, these are the errors that I see popping up with the existing contract that are going to be a pattern and a flow over into this contract. And if we can correct it, now's the time. Let's get that corrected. But I appreciate you listening to those concerns.
Thank you. And in that regard, something you said a moment ago reminded me. I think the last speaker tonight, through the Parks Director, through the manager, made an allegation that some fields that his particular league was going to be assigned were, and I think you said, unsafe, whoever the last speaker was. So we need to know those details or whether that's just bluster in a public hearing. So if the last speaker is still here, or someone can have the last speaker get in touch with our parks director, and clearly articulate the issues that he feels exist with that field. I mean, we don't take that lightly, so was it just, campaign bluster? Well, he didn't say, but we need to know. We need to know that. And that kind of comes back to my comment that, not having the best field at the best time on the most preferable day is not tantamount to being thrown out or not being accommodated. So if we could get some details, from someone who knows the last speaker to get that, we take that very, very seriously. I mean, not in great shape and not the best field is one thing. Unsafe is entirely something else. Yes, Pedro?
Yeah, so he was definitely referring to Roscoe Warren Park. They're not, I wouldn't say unsafe, but they're not meant for games to be held. You can do some drills and some practices, but they're just not the greatest fields. They're on the top of the trash mound. We're very limited on what we can do to maintain them. We can't do irrigation. We can't fertilize. There's 8 inches of soil above the plastic seal over the trash. So they will get muddy. There's no irrigation. They will turn to dirt, right away. So that they're not the best.
Right. No, we all get that, and that hindsight is always 20/20. That should there have even been a park there, or at least in that, but that horse left the barn a long time ago. Yes.
One final comment before the vote happens. Regardless of which way this votes, and it's likely going to move forward, I encourage you all to do not look at this as a defeat. As athletes, you have to keep coming back. And when I say that, it's not to defend your position today, but to continue to be educated and be aware of the information that we're using to make our decisions. Stay involved and ask questions, share your concerns, give us your perspective so that we can make sure that deal turns into a deal the community can be proud of. It's going to be somewhere between 10 and 30 years of a deal. It's a generation of our youth that will be inheriting whatever happens with this. So please continue to come back and be involved in this process. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we'll close the comments and let's have a roll call vote on this resolution.
Councilman Cannibal? Yes. Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilman Ross?
Yes.
Councilwoman Konski? Yes. Councilwoman Avila?
No.
Vice Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, thank you all. All right, let's do this. Let's take a 10-minute break. It'll give time for the room to clear, people to kind of recalibrate, and we'll go forward. What I would first like to do when we come back is the artist presentation and then pick up the agenda at tab 1. So we'll take 10. Really noisy to mausoleum quiet. All right, I guess our colleagues will be back in a moment, but let's call the meeting back to order and proceed to tab 6, car number 5120. Mr. Pearl.
Tab 6 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute a professional artist services agreement for the Losner Park Bathroom Facility Mural Project, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. What staff member has? Oh, Mr. Cook.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. So as you understand, on the 22nd, the artists came before you and they presented their portfolios to you to review, to make a decision. And during that meeting, you decided that you would like to have each artist bring a concept to you to review to help you with your decision making. The artists are here this evening and they have provided their concepts on what they would like to see executed on the bathroom facility in Losner Park. And in this order, the artists would come forward. You have George will be first. Second would be Alex, and the third would be Johan.
Okay. George, come on down. Hi.
So on the east side here, I have a shot of the Everglades with a gator and a lotus and a heron on the right. I thought the sunset colors would be, a nice, attractive background there. Here we go. Here's a close-up. Behind the heron, there's a gray transition that I'll explain more in a little bit. So close-up. The gator floating by the water side. We have an abstract background going into the more realistic Everglades scene, but that's going to lead into something else. I thought it would be cool to have some fish by the water fountain, kind of designate that area. South view. On the right side here, we have just an angled view, but basically it's going to be Henry Flagler and the railway expansion, so basically how the city of Homestead started. I thought it'd be cool to add a Homestead Florida EST sign there with the agricultural side of Homestead, some floating fruits and a crop, corn crop. It's a close-up. For the south view, there's a lot of foliage back there, so I thought it'd be interesting to use the sunset colors and push that behind the plants so that it's more visible. I visited the site recently. There was some kind of back-to-school event or blood donor or something. And the building's hard to see, so I thought having those colors there is actually perfect. So it'll be abstract, but, something to shine through the plants. Here's the west view. That's it.
Okay. Council, any questions, comments on this one? Just so you know, and your fellow artists know, at least for myself, I'm opening this for the first time. So, these were circulated before the meeting. So, we kind of get the wow, the surprise factor for whatever that is worth.
Can you tell me what fish is that?
It's a peacock bass.
Yeah, that's about it.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Yes, Councilwoman.
My question is, why the abstract in front of the landscaping? Why are we covering up the landscaping?
The landscaping, I just figured that the trees will eventually grow and mature and they're going to get larger. So just to bring some identity to the building, we put that color back there so people walking around can see it easier versus like painting something there that eventually will get possibly covered from the plants and trees.
This is behind the landscape.
Right.
Yes, yeah. I just had I didn't leave the plants in there, but there's a lot of foliage. Yeah. So there's plants growing on the wall, bushes in front. And that's it. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman. All right, and who's supposed to be next? Alex. All right. So, like a birthday present here, I'll open up this presentation.
It was on the digital. So
Okay.
So it's actually me, Alex Vahan, and my colleague Enrique Mastrapa, two artists, both from Miami. He actually resides, he's a homeowner here in Homestead, and one of my favorite people to paint with. So we've done quite a few walls together over the years. So I'll just summarize this. This basically outlays sort of the concepts of the wall. Obviously a little bio about each of us. But the idea of the wall itself is a concept that we've explored a few times, and we call it the torn edge idea. And we've done probably about 5. We have one at the History Miami Museum, which is now called the Museum of Miami. We have one at Marlins Stadium. We've got one at Midpoint. We've got one in Wynwood. And the idea is that we're sort of exposing different things about the city, about the community. The idea is that when you tear away, the layers of a city, many things reveal themselves. So this is supposed to be, something that's beautiful and colorful and engaging, but also something that educates. And, we feel like it's important, especially for a park like Losner Park, to, sort of, embrace the history and teach, educate, not just, the people around us, but, ourselves as well. So we've sort of challenged ourselves to sort of like learn more about the community, that we're basically from, and try to visually, pay homage to that. So we've got, we have some of the milkweed, the butterflies, some of the natural elements, the white-tailed deer, the great blue herons, a lot of the natural elements that you'll see in Homestead, but intermingled in that, we've got tribute to the Losners in there themselves. We've got Max and Bill in there. I wasn't able to find images of Lizzie, but, this is like an idea that can be explored a little further if we have access to some archival stuff. Julius Chrome, some of the dates that are important, 1913, 1923, 1998 is, I believe, when the park itself was built. This is an opportunity to educate people and engage the community, which is another big thing for us that I would like to talk a little bit more about. I should also note too that the whole wall, at least this east-facing facade, is overlaid, and you can probably see a little bit of it with a map of the park itself. Mm-hmm. So it's something that works on a few different levels. Some of the details. I put ice skates in. I saw that you guys do an ice skating rink once a year. That's pretty cool. That's one I didn't know about. So again, educating myself even through this process. This is sort of like the community engagement thing that we really pride ourselves on. We've done a lot of projects with city and with different counties. And we really like to get the community involved when we can, when it allows, which for us is any time. We like to get kids involved in the process. We like to get adults involved in the process. Amateur painters, bring it on. We don't really mind. We find that brings a different level of pride for any of these artistic projects, because now you've got kids there. I mean, it's great content, number one, but it's also really great to get these kids' hands dirty. And now you're looking at years and years of pride. These kids are going to grow up and they're going to say, that orange area right there, I painted that with my buddy. I did that, or I remember that day. That was a fun day at the park. We had the music going and there was these guys there. painting, and they taught us, how to use brush, how to use spray paint, whatever it is that we end up using. We're proficient in a lot of these different materials, but it's just a really cool and fun thing to do, and I think it just brings a different vibration to the wall. It's not so much like a work project anymore. It's like a fun community project. It's like a fun community activity. So those are just pictures from past projects that we've done. These are some of the examples of some of the postcard style, the torn edge style murals that we've done in the past, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how they look in the end. And then these are just examples of some of the projects that me and Rick have worked on together over the years. Just to give you a little background on how we paint and just tropical colors. We like stuff to look fun, but also professional. And that's basically all. I mean, I have so much I could really it's more like I have questions for you, but I don't think right now is the right time. Do you guys have questions for me?
I do, if we'll start out. So clearly this is the east exposure.
Yeah.
So your concept for the other three exposures would be kind of that community engagement.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of in keeping with this theme and look.
Keeping with the theme, the torn edge theme, which allows us a lot of room to stretch out and explore different ideas. Like I mentioned earlier, there's certain historical aspects that I would like to explore with this project that I just couldn't find online. Yeah, which is something that we've had access to in the past for some of these projects. When we did stuff for the University of Miami, they gave us full access to the archives so that we could really dig in there and find stuff that we think is cool and interesting, then present it back again. And then sometimes clients even will give us like a list of stuff that they want us to explore more. This was me sort of showing a proof of concept on that nice, big, juicy east side wall. To give you guys like an idea of what the concept would be like. And, we can, if that's the most available and easily accessible wall, then that wall can definitely be a part of the community engagement as well.
Council, any other questions for this concept? Okay.
Pretty straightforward.
Well, thank you. Yeah, very straightforward.
Thank you guys for having me.
And finally, Haven Diaz and Mutavision. Thank you.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Beautiful presentation, guys. Just to reintroduce ourselves and also give the thanks for giving us the time to present again. This is Diaz. This is Johan. Myself is Muta. Today we're presenting or re-presenting our proposal to you, in which we kind of changed a little bit of our design based on what we spoke about last time. We kept the theme of what you had asked for in terms of keeping the Miami Vice influence into our design. But again, our experience in painting murals has been pretty extensive over the years. We've worked with local municipalities, with Fort Lauderdale, Miami-Dade, Arizona. We've kind of hopped all over the place, but just to give context to our design, you could see we switched it up just a tiny bit, maybe in placement and some of the highlight moments. You can see we have our egret, where we originally had it before. We have a flamingo moment towards the bathroom doors, the butterfly by the water fountain, and some more context that kind of plays in the theme of nature and movement. Originally, we wanted to kind of give the theme of movement and also make it a bit site-specific using some of the local botany that's in the park, like the monstera plants and some of the ferns. These monstera plants are actually a picture of the literal plants in the park. that we wanted to incorporate to kind of give familiarity when you're walking around. Just to, I can't remember where this is at. Oh, wrong way. There you go. So this is our mock-up for the front areas and like the main walk-in areas. And we placed our flamingo and egret sort of in the main bathroom area where you're walking towards the park, just to kind of give that concept of movement and that excitement of flying and running into the park, which is one of the things we want to like instill in the kids and people that come to the playground, is the movement of play and create those memories that you never forget. Especially with the water fountain and our butterfly laying on the flower, with all kinds of metaphors, with rebirth and keeping a balance with the flamingo, and obviously the egret with resilience. As you can see in the other, is it east or west? The west-facing walls, we placed the large monstour that would fall behind the plants. The major palms that are really in the longest area that face more of the seating area. And we also have an orchid and some sun-setting Miami Vice birds kind of moving towards the lounging area, just to give that sense of direction. For these, just to give a little more context on the murals, we're a pretty diverse group of artists, so we thought we'd do some research and kind of find inspiration in Miami Vice themes and the things that have influenced it. So we looked to artists like David Hockney, Roberto Buller Marx, and people like Memphis Group, who influenced a lot of the 80s Miami Vice kind of artwork that we see all throughout the city. And our boardwalks in Miami Beach and just everywhere we look, essentially. And we kind of brought in some of those themes that you can see in the background and the foreground of the artwork, like the lines, the checkered boxes, things like that. And this project is something that we believe would take about 2 weeks, 14 days, realistically, with contingency of weather or things that would happen, or if we run into any hiccups. And we were also planning to provide like a UV-resistant coat as well. I mean, we're practicing artists of over 8 years individually. Every material we use and every way we apply these things are in the most professional manner. On top of that, we also wanted to propose like a maintenance thing, because murals are an ephemeral thing. They don't last forever. So we would also love to, if chosen, work out something with you guys in terms of maintaining it throughout the years to come. But that would be a later conversation and moving forward, hopefully. And again, these concepts are something that we're open to also editing and changing. They can develop in many ways. If some colors are just need to be, slightly adjusted, or some of the subjects need to not be a certain way, then we're more than open to it. We're pretty flexible. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for this
Council,
time.
questions for this team? Yeah, Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mayor. It's more of a question for staff, but first I want to thank the proposers, both of you. Thank you very much for coming out. I think the last time we were looking at murals, we couldn't pick, so we picked both. I don't know if that's an option in this case, certainly not for this particular wall, but if we can have more art coming to the city of Homestead, I will definitely be in favor of that. But a question for staff. When it comes to the site, can you go to please to the screen with the doors and the... Yeah. It's like the site renderings. It has with the trash can in front of it. Thank you.
Right there.
Can we wrap these things with, please? Certainly
from there, man. I was going to say
relocate it. It's probably there for a reason. But if we could wrap both the box and the dumpster, and somehow include in your design a wrapping element on the doors, just so that it's seamless. I know that in the next slide you have a visual of what the artwork would look like with landscaping in front of it. And while I love the different aspects and the details that the other proposal provided, I think in this particular spot, the big block of colors are necessary for you to be able to see and appreciate what it is through the landscaping. I don't want the details to get lost where this is kind of a section of the park that needs the facelift, but the type of detail that we have with the other proposal, I would like for you to be able to be more one-on-one and engaging with it. But in terms of the design element, I love the butterfly near the water. Everything is popping. I really like whoever's idea, if it was staff to do Miami Vice, it was Bailey, wasn't it? I like it. I'm digging it. And I don't think I was present when the first time this came around, but I was listening and I was online, and I really like how inviting and bright this is. And I'm sure the other proposer could do something similar, but staying true to your original concept, because you could have changed it a lot, but you kept this kind of theme, and I love it. I love the flamingo. I think I know someone else on the dais that likes flamingos. I'm not even missing sunflowers. Like, I'm usually like, can you throw some sunflowers in here? And I'm not even really missing that, because I love the bird of paradise. I love the other thing. So I know I'm giving a lot of feedback on why I love this one, but I do like the other concept. I like the historical components. If there's anywhere, any other walls we can find to incorporate those kinds of community, let's find a wall and just maybe paint it white every couple of months and let the community go have at it, and we can paint it white again and let the community paint it again, and have some type of program with a mural artist company to manage that kind of engagement. I think would be great. And pick a park. Let's do them in all of them. You have my support. But for staff, I'd like your feedback on the wrapping and how we can maybe expand some of the vision that these artists are bringing to us. Because I like
all of these proposals, the wrapping or painting element of doors
has to happen,
and
right?
dumpsters. Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
It was an initial question we were going to ask in the last meeting, with the list of questions with the doors, because logistically to paint the doors, it's also another process, and these type of things are great to know. Final wrapping the dumpster and the doors are completely feasible and possible. I think it's a great idea. Thank you for the notes.
Councilwoman Avila, just as a point, in next month, September, we're going to be bringing back the AIPP plan for formal adoption. So as a part of that, Council through I think 2 workshops ago, outlined several projects that we could look at considering for further murals. So just that you're aware.
Yeah, and go ahead,
Say
Vice Mayor.
something?
Okay, yes, Cannonball.
Yeah. Are we going to determine who's going to have the project?
Maybe, but go ahead.
Well, because I don't want to choose today. This is amazing. What's your name?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. I love your murals. They're amazing. They're incredible. Especially the part of the train with Flagler. Oh my God, that thing got me. And yours, the Kronos of the of Homestead. Where's the other people? Yeah.
The second proposal.
Yeah. The chronology. That thing is something else. And yours, I don't know how can we
all very well
choose
implemented.
Something, because they're amazing. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think we are.
You know what we should do? Make 3 bathrooms.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilman Roth.
Yeah, I just, it was which one was it? The Exhibit 4. I liked how he used the doors and placed his art where the doors didn't take away from the pictures. And if he's really concealed the dumpsters and the power supply, that was ingenious. because he hid that behind his artwork, so you don't see it. So I kind of looking towards that one.
I mean, this right here, that disappeared?
Yeah, you see how they're back behind here. So the colors were, vibrant and bright. And I'm not a real artistic kind of guy, but yours inspired me the most when it comes to if I had to choose one. They all have their, their part, that's for sure. So I'm with Cannonball. Let's just build more bathrooms so we can have more walls for art. Thanks, Mayor.
Vice Mayor? Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. So I was kind of waiting till everybody did their presentation because obviously I wanted to hear a little bit about what you all said. Can you go back to your slide that says you called it the West with the Monstera? They're called Monsteras.
Would you like to see the flat artwork? Or the
Oh no,
marker?
so that picture right there.
Okay. Yeah.
When it comes to artists, I think we all agree. You guys can visualize like things that are going to work in certain areas. This one specifically for me was personal. I worked really hard with the arts and trying to bring stuff here, as a lot of my colleagues have. I drive by this multiple times a day because this is going into my neighborhood.
So that's the western exposure?
That is what I see. No, not this one. It's the dumpster, which will be covered. And the idea, Losner Park is such a beautiful park. The nature, the plants. I didn't want it to be one of the more artistic type of murals that we could possibly have. That one there, that shows the backdrop with the current landscaping, that's kind of what the vision was. It was an artistic play on what is already there. So silhouettes of the trees where maybe you see the trunk on the building and then there's the treetop above it. So the only reason I would
orient me, is this...
This is when you're walking through, getting
when you're
to the
going
little
from the
library.
park to the bathroom?
No.
Or this looks into Pioneer Village?
No. So if you want to go back to where
Yeah.
you see maybe, this is the next wall after you've got the, okay, so it's this wall. It's
The southern wall
Yeah.
facing the playground.
facing the playground,
Okay.
right? That walkway.
Yeah, so essentially this sidewalk kind of curves to the right where the flamingo is, and the water fountain is immediately there. Then you kind of walk into the pavement a little bit further, and you have your picnic tables and your lounging area.
So based on this view, with those apartments in the background, this wall with in the top of this slide would be the wall that overlooks the playground, the southern wall.
This top wall looks at Paramount Dance.
The dance school, I believe.
Okay,
is.
okay. That's the eastern wall.
Or performance school.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But this wall.
So this wall, this picture, this mural, this rendering is like exactly the vision. It is colorful, kind of Miami Vice style, just to tie into Miami. But yeah.
But which wall is that?
Well, regardless, I'm just saying
No, I
that
agree.
if we're picking,
Yes.
It's the west wall.
only reason I would go with this third one is because of that idea. A couple little tweaks with some other things, but to talk a little bit about the other ones, I don't know if you guys all want to come up or you guys want to sit down, but the torn edge thing, I absolutely love that. It being an education piece, it forcing conversations, that we are going to find a place for. I don't think it's the Losner Park bathrooms. The fish, the water feature, the alligator, it looks so incredibly cool. The other thing that we've passed not long ago is something called Maui Murals. We're working on some funding, and we are trying to make from Maui a little bit off Chrome Avenue down to 187th, Maui Murals. There are organizations and businesses that represent all of Homestead. Mexican American Council, these big creative Haitian churches, long-standing businesses that I see wanting to do something Everglades related. We're working on some ideas for funding for that. That's where those torn edges, I think, would be amazing. So even if it's not this bathroom now, please mark our words that we're going to find a really cool place for that. If, depending on which two don't make it, all three are just incredibly impressive. So
Absolutely.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think like my colleagues, when we had the choice of the huge murals that are on the Seminole Theater exposures, we liked elements from all of it, and there are elements of all of these proposals that I really like. And I'm really, being the traditionalist, really drawn to the rendering that's got the tomatoes, the strawberries, and the corn, and then a nod to our history with the train. And in a perfect world, if we could get the private property owner's permission to do so, I'd like to see this on the north side of the Jacobson's building, but with the homestead reversed, so that when you're at the intersection, that's what you see first. The homestead 1913 with the tomatoes, and then on the long stretch of the wall, the train. And again, it all depends on the location. We can make a lot of jokes about putting my father's face on the bathroom door. We won't do that. But I think with it, as we go forward, we can draw elements from all of these proposals into other locations, and got a lot in and around the park already, and it's probably time to spread out. But does staff really need us to make a decision tonight? Yes.
Thank you. And I know Councilman Fletcher probably would like to say something too, but if we haven't already, and even if we have ordered the letters for the homestead on the Paseo leading into Losner Park, I think there's a lost opportunity there. Big old wall, we could paint it. We can maybe do that interactive conversation piece with the torn edges and the Flagler map and everything on that wall. I mean, I can see where all these pieces could work. And, while we have huge murals there dedicating to the national parks already, I think that's still kind of the theme we're owning, and I don't mind seeing it in, as you said, on Jacobson's wall. That could be a CRA grant, beautification, But if that wall leading into Losner Park and that Paseo can have that as a backdrop artwork, we might save money. Those letters are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
We'll save on maintenance of those letters and not have to kick the birds out of nesting in the holes of Homestead.
I agree with you.
Let's do a mural instead of those letters. And it can still say Homestead, the future lives here, with the little palm tree like Councilwoman Bailey envisioned. Mm-hmm. Or a combination of the two. So maybe for the next art mural discussion. Thank you.
So, Vice Mayor, do you want to move a rendering for the bathroom project?
As tough as it is, we've been working on this for a while. I truly know that there are going to be more opportunities coming soon. I would personally make the motion for the third applicant for this
Exhibit
project.
6.
For this project specifically, and let the first and the second know that we're coming back for you guys soon.
Oh, no, it's not Exhibit 6. It's
I'll
Exhibit
second that with a
5.
comment.
Councilman?
I'll second her motion with a comment. I too am really impressed with all of the applications, and can we do something a little different that maybe we haven't done in the past? Let's keep these in perpetuity, and during our next discussion for the next wall, we pick one of the other two, and same for the third wall. That way, each of them have an opportunity. We don't have to go through this whole process.
Save
every
these
time.
elements for elsewhere.
Yes, save them for elsewhere. But,
Let's keep it up.
but I truly love the third presentation, but you got to do a little something with the doors is all.
Yeah.
Carry the
whatever.
artwork into the doorways, and I'm happy with that. But I really do like the vibrant colors that you envisioned initially. So, and I'm not the artist guy, but for this, I really do like it.
And again, building hasn't weighed in on the safety and the visibility issues for doors, but we'll hear about that.
Can we, Matt, can we include that in the?
Did we retain these for priority for the next projects? The other concepts?
Do we have identified, I mean, when we do this, you have to go out to a call to artists, and we've identified this particular project for this one. Now, if you like these concepts, what I would say is you can identify additional spaces, and in the next call, allow look for these concepts in your call, and then allow for, if you identify multiple spaces, you can allow for multiple awards in that call. I think that would be the cleanest way to go forward with this.
So the answer is no.
But with a caveat, that's how you get there. That's how you, because then you're not asking these particular applicants to recreate the wheel. They can make these submissions for the next identified location, because you've already identified that these are the responses that you want to see.
And we can't create a pool of mural artists.
Not for art in public places.
Okay, and just for the makers of the motion and the second, any objection to if they find a great way to incorporate a sunflower that doesn't ruin the whole vision? Is there any objection to that?
I think the
It doesn't
heron,
go.
the heron is a little overkill. There's a huge heron right behind there, so I think that there can definitely be a little tweak. Maybe we can all suggest a little something to put in there, like our own little, Easter egg. But yeah, I think we can definitely all look at this a little more over the next week or so, and the artists can take that into consideration.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to adopt, which exhibit was it? Sure. Before we vote, Councilwoman McConkey?
Yes, thank you. The elements of Exhibit 4, the idea 4 and 6, I see a teachable moment here because this is all history, the Everglades or history of the city of Homestead. So I like the concept of this being in the park because we could add maybe a QR code or something of that sort so they could scan it and learn about the Henry Flagler.
Excuse me, we're going to have the VR people, the one that are making that project? City manager?
So there can possibly be revisions to this as they work out the implementation phase. I like the idea of leaving this as the call for artists has already indicated and have an opening. When next month the administration comes back with the AIPP item, then we can propose to find locations as part of that package to present to council. That these are additional locations for consideration. In addition to that, reach out to the Miami-Dade County Public Schools and private property owners that have blank walls fronting the public highway, especially along Campbell Drive, and see what the appetite is to participate in the IPP program. So it becomes an all-encompassing program rather than being fixated on these locations.
So a call for walls.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Because we're kind of running out of walls in the park.
Yeah. But if we're on private property, if it's something that you're driving by, you wouldn't have the opportunity to. For something that is history related, if we were going to tie in some history or the link to history, it could even be on a plaque on a stand in the ground, not actually on the wall. So something of that sort, to give some background and the story behind the mural itself. Just an idea.
Yeah.
Mayor, real quick.
Yes.
Just real quick. I think it was Exhibit 6. Is that Alex? Is that you? I don't know if you're aware, and I want to make a commercial for our museum that we have downtown Homestead. Has probably more stuff that you could ever possibly imagine seeing about the history of the city of Homestead. So I want to do a shout out to our museum right across the street from Losner Park, as a matter of fact, next to Casita Tejas. You can get a nice lunch, go enjoy some history of the city of Homestead, and then go back and revision your mural project as well. So I just want to show that.
In addition to the historic photos throughout this building.
Correct, yes. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we have a motion and a second for that site-specific subject to some small tweakings for that proposal. We'll have a roll call.
Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilman Cannibal?
Yes.
Councilman Ross? Yes. Councilwoman Konski? Yes. Councilwoman Avila?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you to all the artists, and I know we're going to see each of your work again and implement it in Homestead somewhere. Thank you all. Okay, so let's go back to tab 1. So we're finally at the beginning of the agenda. All right. This will be our utility director making the presentation, or do we have a video or PowerPoint presentation? Squeak.
That was a little high for me. I was going to do a nod to our Public Works Director and go, how was it? Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and members of the community. For those who don't know me, I'm Barbara Quinones, the Director of HPS Energy, the city's municipally owned electric utility. Today's presentation is designed to provide information about the rates, reliability, and contributions to the Homestead community of our municipally owned electric utility. HPS Energy is more than simply the company that delivers electricity to homes and businesses. Because it's municipally owned, the benefits of the utility can come back to the community in several different ways. Through competitive electric rates, contributions to the city's finances, local employment, economic activity, reliability investments, and direct support for community programs. At a high level, Florida's municipal electric utilities are demonstrating that public power can provide both competitive cost and reliable service. We see that municipal utilities are currently averaging approximately 16% lower power costs than the investor-owned utilities in Florida. And investor-owned utilities are companies such as TECO, FPL, and Duke. For Homestead, that means the benefit of municipal ownership is not limited to city government. Lower electric costs can directly benefit residents and businesses by leaving more money in their pockets. And at the same time, the municipal utilities are also investing in reliability and system improvements. This slide helps to put the cost advantage into perspective. The Florida municipal utilities, as mentioned, are approximately 16% lower cost than investor-owned utilities, and that represents significant savings for customers across the state. We also see that the electric utilities across the U.S. have increased their prices by 50% over the last 15 years. The Florida investor-owned utilities have also increased their prices by about 38% over the last 15 years. The munis, you see a 5% increase. That's all the munis in Florida. And Homestead in particular, our prices have increased by 3% since January of 2010. Roughly $4 a month increase to the bills for the average residential bill since January of 2010. And for reference, the price of a gallon of milk has increased 36% in the same time frame, and the price for a babysitter has doubled from $10 an hour to $20 an hour. And when I last was a babysitter, it was $1 an hour. So for Homestead, competitive electric rates are particularly important because electricity is a significant household and business expense. When customers spend less on electricity, that money doesn't simply disappear. It can instead be used for groceries, housing, services, business investment, payroll, and other purchases within the local economy. Another benefit to the community of HPS Energy is our financial support to the city. HPS Energy provides approximately $11 million in economic support to the city's general fund. That means the utility contributes to the financial resources available to the city without requiring the city to obtain those funds through another source. Those resources can help support municipal services and community priorities. And an additional $6 million helps fund the internal city departments that provide essential services to HPS Energy operations. So when we look at HPS Energy, we don't just look at the electric bill. We also look at the financial contribution that the utility makes to the broader city budget. This slide brings the discussion directly back to the Homestead residents. Statewide information compiled monthly by the Florida Municipal Electric Association estimates approximately a $7 million annual benefit from lower residential rates for the Homestead customers. This is in comparison to the investor-owned utilities. You see Homestead up there for calendar year 2025. We were the fourth lowest. And you see the investor-owned utility weighted average significantly higher than Homestead's rates. Again, this represents roughly $17 million savings for all the customers in our community. And the important consideration is what that competitive position could mean for Homestead customers over the coming years. This slide is important because it looks beyond today's rates. Here we reference FPL's filed proposed rate increases, which indicate that the rate difference could become even more favorable for Homestead as time goes by. The point is not simply that HPS has a competitive rate today. The important consideration is what that competitive position could mean for Homestead customers over the coming years. If investor-owned utility rates continue to increase, maintaining a competitive municipal utility could become an increasingly important economic advantage for our residents and businesses. And of course, cost is only one part of the value equation. I know our mayor has talked about reliability, which is extremely important to our customers. Customers expect reliable electricity. This slide compares the reliability measures amongst Florida utilities. HPS Energy's numbers show that its reliability performance is competitive with the major investor-owned utilities. A couple of, or actually three measures are shown here. One is SAIDI, which is the System Average Interruption Duration Index, and it represents the average duration of outages experienced by customers. SAIFI measures frequency of outages, and LBAR measures the average length of an individual power outage. And we know that we have room for improvement in this area of reliability. We target areas that are not performing as well as others, and we come up with measures to address the problems, and we're working diligently on improving reliability. We are competitive when you compare us with those other utilities that are shown here, which are the investor-owned utilities, but we do still have room to make progress. We also are showing here reliability statistics for our electrical substations. 3 of the 4 substations fall within the excellent category when compared with substations nationwide. 1 of them does not. Again, we know we have room for improvement, and we have identified where the problems are. We use our data to identify where the outages occur more frequently, and then we implement targeted mitigation measures. and the efforts will focus on the most common causes for the power outages, which can include trees, lightning, animals, equipment failure. Improving reliability remains a key focus for the HPS Energy team in 2026 and 27, with continued efforts to identify problem areas and reduce the frequency and duration of outages. We provide a competitive reliability and also deliver financial and economic benefits. And again, the team remains committed to improving reliability even further. Another benefit that could be easy to overlook is local employment and economic activity. HPS Energy employs 65 people who directly support electric operations. In addition, as mentioned previously, approximately $6 million is allocated to other city departments that provide essential services to HPS Energy operations, helping fund the employees and resources needed to support the utility. Many of these employees live, work, and spend money within the community. Their income supports local businesses, and that local spending creates a multiplier effect throughout the economy. It's estimated that HPS Energy's employees alone generate approximately $3.2 million in net local economic impact. So HPS Energy is more than just an electric utility that delivers power to customers. It's also a local employer, an economic contributor, and an important part of Homestead's broader economy. I think I forgot to advance the slide, so here you go. There are also other benefits that don't necessarily show up on the customer's electric bill. HPS Energy operates a MeterLink program, Energy Saver program, surge protection program, and provides support for community events, and has also pursued grant funding for system improvements. One particularly important example is the FEMA storm hardening grant that allowed HPS Energy to replace 350 wood poles with concrete poles and with more robust, sturdier wooden poles, improving system resiliency. HPS also provides approximately 150 hours of staff support each year for community events. These are examples of the broader role that a municipal utility can play in its community. Reliability becomes particularly important when the community experiences a major storm. No community knows this better than Homestead. During the last major hurricane to hit Homestead, Hurricane Irma in 2017, Homestead residents had their power restored 4 days earlier than neighboring residents in South Dade. Homestead had power restored by Sunday to all those who could receive power, and the neighboring South Dade residents had power restored the following Thursday. That experience illustrates one of the advantages of having a locally operated utility. During an emergency, the utility is part of the community that it serves. Its employees, facilities, equipment, and leadership are already connected to the local area. For residents and businesses, faster restoration can mean getting back to work, reopening businesses, restoring communities, and returning to normal life sooner. And we had a gentleman working with us who lived just on the other side of the street, and he's not served by Homestead, and he was complaining on a daily basis, waiting for his power to be restored, while he looked across the street and saw the neighbors had power. So. Homestead Energy has also received the Diamond Level RP3 designation. That stands for Reliable Public Power. It's a national public power benchmark program. The designation recognizes performance in 4 areas: reliability, safety, workforce development, and system improvement. The American Public Power Association notes that only approximately 6% of the roughly 2,000 public power communities throughout the nation earn the Diamond designation. That gives the community an important external benchmark. HPS Energy is not simply evaluating itself. It has been recognized through a national public power program for its performance. And here with this slide, we bring everything together. We see that there's an estimate of approximately $38.4 million in annual economic benefit from the municipal utility. The estimate includes several different components. As mentioned in previous slides, approximately $17 million from lower cost energy, approximately $11 million associated with general fund, payment in lieu of taxes and allocations to the general fund, approximately $3.2 million in local economic impact, and approximately $2.2 million in community value and grants. The key message is that the benefit of HPS Energy is much larger than simply operating an electric distribution system. It's a community-wide economic benefit associated with the utility. And there's one other benefit that's difficult to put a precise dollar figure on, but that's local control and local decision-making, which is what you all do for the community, and it's greatly appreciated. With a municipal utility, decisions about the electric system are ultimately connected to the interest of the Homestead community. Again, that's what you all do. You look out for the interest of the community. And I just wanted to offer you these facts and statistics for your consideration. So, in closing, wanted to say that the electric utility offers competitive rates, contributions to the city, local employment, economic activity, reliability investment, storm resiliency, community support, and local control. Ultimately, HPS Energy is a community asset. Its benefits extend beyond the utility itself and reach the residents, businesses, employees, and city government that make up the Homestead community. My mother told me at the end to go ahead and turn all the lights off so you could think about the value, but I'm not going to do that. No, we're not going. But thank you for your time, and if you have any comments or questions for me, please go ahead.
Well, thank you, Madam Director. Council, questions, comments? Councilwoman Avila?
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to thank staff for getting this on the agenda. It was at my request that this presentation be put on, and I thought it was very valuable for the residents of the city of Homestead to be educated about all the ins and outs of our HPS Energy service, and not necessarily the value, because as far as I'm concerned, what I can see is it's immeasurable. You know, you can't put a dollar value on what this is worth for us today or in the future. Although some might want to try, and I support our department. I appreciate the hard work and the efforts, and I think we all do, and I want to continue to see this enterprise continue with us in the city of Homestead. Thank you. Not that it's up for debate, but I wanted it to be presented to the public about what we have as an asset. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further? Councilman Fletcher.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for the presentation and the request for it. I believe this tells a great story, but it's only part of the story. There's more benefits. There may be a couple of detractors that we have to look at long term, but I've had the opportunity to ask Ms. Quinones a lot of questions over the last few weeks, and I actually have a lot of data, and I have more questions, but I think there's benefits to us looking at expanding our current generation capability, because right now we rely on power purchase contracts. We generate 6 megawatts of power, or have the capability right now. Next year we're going to have some additional capabilities to produce more power, but we have the opportunity to create even more. We just need to look at the different options. The last time this was looked at was 2014. And that council decided they didn't want to have a meeting, so they didn't show up for 5 or 6 meetings. They never had the discussion on a consultant that provided a product to us. So I would like to maybe think about looking at that again, refreshing that project and seeing what the benefits could be for us expanding. And again, there's other questions we got to ask. I think you can put a dollar value on what we have, and I think the dollar value that we currently have in our ACFM is way low because of the assets that we currently own, and the cost to replace those assets is very high. Some of the questions I asked, I'll give you some of them. I'm going to give everybody all this information when I'm done. But we have 8.8 miles of 138 kV lines. Current costs to replace those are estimated between $400,000 to $2 million per mile. At the low end, we're at like $3.5 million for that. It's probably going to cost the higher end of that spectrum to replace those if we ever had a massive storm.
Another blowout.
You know, we have 183 miles of underground power lines at the 13.K. $2 to $7 million a mile to replace. Low end $2 million. We're probably in the higher end because of our soil. So these are all things that we got to think of. And I would ask the staff that we look at our valuation of the assets that we have long term. I don't know why. Maybe we do it on purpose, value it a little lower so we don't have to pay more. But in the long term, I think we need to know what the real value is of what we own, because the Homestead residents own the power company. So they need to know what they have. Lots of details here. Again, when I finish my other questions through Barbara in the manager's office, I will provide every one of these to you. There's a lot of detail in here, and I think it's important that at some point we tell the whole story that benefits, why it's a benefit to us, and what we can do to make it even better and more capable, and we're not relying on outside entities to provide that. In passing, a comment was made, where else could we build another power plant? Well, that's a long process to go through to get a power plant sited. Then you got to get the capacity or the gas or whatever you choose to be the fuel down here. That's a whole nother, because right now we only have so much capacity that we're allowed. We don't meet it right now. We can only produce about half of that if we're fully operable. So there's a lot of things we have to look at for the long-term viability to remain competitive. And I think they do an outstanding job with what they have, but we could do better if we're able to improve upon it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Fletcher. Question, you said you've got a lot of data, and I think I heard you say that right now, we produce on our own about 6 megawatts. Do you happen to have at your fingertips what our daily requirements are?
Because she gave me the answer, but about 154 megawatts.
That's our capacity.
That's our capacity of what we can produce and bring in.
Yes,
Right.
and the peak.
The demand.
Our peak demand last year was 126 megawatts. This year, with the current heat, we're exceeding that.
So at a minimum, we're 120 megawatts shy of being self-contained as of today, at a minimum.
Next year we'll have 16
Yeah,
additional
we'll have
megawatts.
yes, we have three units that are being overhauled that will be online next year.
So 32 megawatts with a demand of 130. I can even do that math.
Yeah.
There's a much bigger story
Yes.
to tell that we will need to consider in the coming months. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank
Councilman Roth?
Yeah, I'm just curious. We recently approved some monies to redo the water system, right? Is that what it was? How much did we
It was a
grant?
pump station, right?
No, it was for the expansion of the water treatment plant.
The treatment plants?
For a well. That was for $2 million for a well.
No.
Right?
We authorized a lot of money for the expansion of the water treatment plant. Is that right?
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
I hate to say it's hard to keep up with. I know we borrowed money and a lot of things.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. What council approved was for us to apply for the inclusion of funding for obtaining a loan for the expansion, but that was just for us to submit the application in order for that to run its course.
Oh,
But
what was
we
that
haven't-
amount?
Huh?
What was that amount?
On the high end, we estimated $90 million for the planned expansion, hoping for grants.
No, I think I heard the estimate to redo our power plant would be about 50 million. So I think
Wow.
somebody needs to get on the phone and start calling people for grants. So I think
Two things. Cairo, what we applied for was state revolving fund. That's a loan. It's not a grant.
Correct, a loan.
Okay? It's a loan. Okay? The state will give you a loan at very liberal terms.
Right.
If it's for a public purpose, after maybe 5-10 years, they forgive the rest, which is the beauty why we went for that. Let's look into that. I know most of the state revolving fund is for water and sewer. Let's also see, talking to our consultants, whether a power plant qualifies and is eligible for such loans. We'll do that back study. I don't know whether the state will agree, but it's a long shot. We reached out also to Becker at the federal level to assist us to start looking for federal grants for power plants, because that's where the big picture is today. Homestead has been very fortunate, both on the water and sewer side and on the electric side. We have not done much of an expansion that grows with the population that the city has been experiencing. Tonight, you're going to see an item for one of the items, I believe it's well number 7. Last time the city dug a new well was perhaps in 1977. So we're bringing an item forward, being proactive in looking for more money, OPMs, other people's money, grants, both at the state and federal level to assist us.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if we are serious about expanding and enhancing what we already have, we need to explore that option as well versus any other option. I think that, I mean, I would like to see the studies too. You know, if we produce our own power versus buying our own power, you know, long term, is it beneficial to do it that way, or is it to continue to buy power at a discount and then redistribute it? So, I mean, it's great that you've got the mixing board, right? So you're capable of doing both. But if we were to invest, it's not like you can, I guess you could buy water from the county and then resell it, but that's not feasible, right? But buying power from another company and redistributing it may make more sense than rebuilding or refurbishing the entire power plant. So I kind of would like to see that too. The numbers are astonishing, right? But as population increases, the demand increases, and you know, the power company does help sustain, you know, some part of the city. So I think it's worth looking at as far as the expansion or modernization of what we've got already. I don't know if diesel fuel is quite the thing for us.
We run on natural gas.
On gas, okay.
Yeah.
So not coal or wood, right? No, natural gas.
So there's some hamsters.
There's a few hamster wheels. So, but I think you all get the point, right? I think it's a cool topic to think about and to explore even further.
And
That's what I think.
I'm sorry, Councilman. And as Councilman Fletcher mentioned, we did have a study done in 2014. We were attempting to have a workshop with council, but we were never able to successfully schedule it as the council members were not available to attend, the ones that were interested in seeing the study. But we do use a diversified mix of different contracts along with our own generation. I think we've got 7 or 8 purchase power agreements with a variety of different entities, and that gives us some flexibility. So if we did an economic benefit analysis, I think it would show that we want to continue to be diversified, so that you have backup, you have redundancy. But we would hire a consultant to do that and look at it and bring that to council if that's your wish.
Let me ask you this. Is there any just general rule of thumb for the kind of generation we have now? Obviously, more modern, more fuel efficient, et cetera. The cost per megawatt to parachute in those units into our existing facility.
Probably about 1.5 million per megawatt.
So if we needed 150 megawatts to account for the future, do the
Right.
math.
Yeah. But that's for the
We
existing.
can't do that?
We don't have the gas capacity to run that much.
Well, I said in a perfect world.
Yes.
But about $1.5 million per megawatt. And then the question that would then become, if we had to borrow that money and pay it all back, does our revenue stream support that kind of debt? So there are a lot of
questions.
A lot of questions.
Yes. And again, I think diversity is important. Having a number of different resources that we can draw relatively low-cost power from is important. If we wanted to be self-sustaining and have the 150 megawatts, perhaps we would also go with combustion turbines or other nuclear options or things like that. We would want to look at all the different options that are available for generating electricity. So.
Be some very interesting academic conversations in the next year. Wait, anything further, Councilwoman? Okay. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you. Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
everyone.
Okay. The next item is, what's it? Is the second reading of car number 5070, tab 2, Mr. Pearl.
Tab 2 is the second reading and ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 30, Zoning, Article 1, and General Section 30-1 definitions to create definitions relating to small and large animal clinics and small and large animal hospitals, amending Article 3, District Regulations, Division 10, B1A, Professionals Business Restricted District, Section 30-241, Uses Permitted, to permit small animal clinics and small animal hospitals as a permitted special exception use, amending Division 11, B1 Restricted Retail Commercial District, Section 30-256, uses permitted to allow small animal clinics and small animal hospitals as a permitted use, amending Division 12, B2 Retail Commercial District, Section 30-276, uses permitted to clarify that small and large animal clinics and small and large animal hospitals are permitted uses, and further amending Division 13, B3 Liberal Business District, Section 30-296, uses permitted to clarify that small and large animal clinics and small and large animal hospitals are permitted uses, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. And just to recap, the changes from the first reading included the lifting of the restriction of the number of staff, which really would be more governed by the size of the building in a given location. What else was there?
There was a discrepancy with regards to how do we define it, because I was able to find veterinary clinics and hospitals in the areas that, according to the code, were not allowed. So how did we address that, Matt? Could you confirm?
So if
Went
I
over to
may,
the B2, didn't it?
Mr. Mayor and Council, what transpired based on that conversation that you had on July the 22nd, through the office of the city attorney, James White went and modified the resolution to include new definitions, one of them being large and animal clinics, no boarding, and large animal hospital, no boarding. In doing so, it brought that consistency and clarity in the code around those two elements by adding that. It also, in doing so, it brought clarity in where the uses can take place within the B3 and B2 for large and small animal clinics. That was the changes that transpired from the first reading to the second reading.
Thank you. And then I'd ask the council to consider the following. I initiated this, and as usual, it grows into something more than just the tweak that I envisioned. And my tweak started out as permitting the small animal hospitals with no boarding, veterinary clinics in B1A in a standalone building on a lot of not less than 13,500 square feet. And then James recommended some of the changes in the other categories. However, as presented, and as I stated at the time, I'd been contacted by a couple of different unrelated veterinarians about their difficulty in finding suitable locations within the city limit. My intention is that they found the B1A, had whatever sewer capacity and the right lot size, as a matter of right, they would be able to do that. As presented, though, that still would require a public hearing and a special exception for B1A, and that was not my intention. So to whoever would make the motion, I would request that the motion be made by deleting that section 30-241C, and it would be, it would be 3250, is it 256? Wherever it calls out a special exception being required.
It's in section 30-241, it's division 10 B1A. James, it's in subsection C, the following uses are permitted by
special exception.
And then James added the number that allowed the small animal
Right.
clinics and small animal hospitals to be allowed as a special exception.
So it would just be the following uses shall be permitted.
So what I'm hearing is you would like to move the small
Remove
animal
the special
clinics.
exception.
Well, what we're really doing is we're relocating that permissive language on the small animal clinic and small animal hospital out of the special exception paragraph and moving it up directly under the permitted uses.
Correct.
So that's the goal of this.
That's my goal.
And that would follow suit with B2 and B3, right?
Right, there's no change otherwise. Yeah, because they're permitted.
They're permitted as of right with
in a
B2 and
B2,
B3.
B3.
Right, yeah, I'm fine.
And even B1. Some uses in B1. This is for B1A.
Right, so B1A would eliminate the special request requirement.
Right.
So I'm
It
in
eliminates
favor of-
public hearing and all of that.
I'm fine with that. I don't have a
All
problem.
right, so moved as requested by Councilman Cannibal, seconded by
second.
Councilwoman
I'm
Avila.
open to hearing any objection.
Any further discussion, objections, questions,
Inclusive
comments?
of the proposed amendment to move that.
Right, he included the proposed amendment. Real quickly, let me open the public hearing. Close the public hearing. Let's have a roll call vote.
Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Konski? Councilwoman Avila? Councilman Cannibal? Vice Mayor Bailey? Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Randy promoted you. Okay, moving on to, we'll get to that at the end. That's not really, nobody's here waiting for them. All right, moving on to tab 3.
Just before we do that, if I can invite a motion to extend the meeting, we hit 8:30.
Is that, well, we weren't supposed to be anywhere near this late, so do we have a motion to extend to 9:15? And that's it. All right. Moved by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Councilwoman Avila begrudgingly. All in favor? Any opposed? Feel free to vote no down there. Okay. So moving on to tab 3.
Tab 3 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 30 zoning, Article 1 in general, Section 30-1 definitions to create a definition for express mechanical car wash, and amending Chapter 30 zoning, Article 3 district regulations, Division 12 B2 retail commercial district, Section 30-276 uses permitted to allow express mechanical car washes as a permitted use in the B2 zoning district, and amending Chapter 30 zoning, Article 4 supplemental district regulations, Division 9 mixed use and non-residential development standards, Section 30-540 service stations, auto repair and car washes, to establish development standards for express mechanical car washes, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Any objection to waiving the staff report on this second reading? Didn't think so. Moved by Councilman Roth, second by Councilman Fletcher. Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilwoman Avila?
Yes.
Councilman Cannibal? Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Konski? Vice Mayor Bailey? Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
And tab 4, please.
Tab Tab 4 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budget for the Water and Sewer Utility Fund for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026 by increasing the total budgeted revenues and expenditures by $2,003,694, providing for severability and an effective date.
Moved by Councilman Fletcher, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Implicit in that is a waiver of the staff report. There's nothing further. A roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Avila?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Konsky? Yes. Vice Mayor Bailey? Yes. Mayor Lawson?
Yes.
The motion carried.
And that takes us to tab 7, car number 5075.
Tab 7 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the ranking of the Evaluation Committee of Proposers to RFQ 2026-18 Pre-Qualified Contractor Pool for Community Development Programs, authorizing the City Manager to negotiate and enter into agreements with the top-ranked 8 firms. Such agreements shall be subject to approval as to form and legal sufficiency by the City Attorney, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. With no objection, we'll waive the staff report. Any questions or comments from council?
Me, please.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not sure if you all saw in your briefing how many impressive amounts of local vendors were approved, but it was 0. So we need to really think. We obviously, I'm sure I'm not the only one that hears about these companies wanting to do business with the city. So where are we falling short? Where are they falling short? I know that staff does a great job with putting those RFQs out there, but as being more those boots on the ground, I just wanted to throw it out there because I'm also going to be thinking of some different ways to, they're hosting workshops, but somehow it's just falling through the cracks. So.
Yes, and I shared your concerns similar concerns in my briefing that I didn't quite understand why we're not attracting. Is it folks don't know about it? They can't meet the guidelines? Do they just not want to do business with the city? And we've always got to be focused on, as we continue to grow, there have got to be local contractors here who would be qualified. So I share your concerns. Councilman Fletcher?
Yes, and I hear here to the Vice Mayor, I've asked this question many a time over the last 7 years. I know some of it has to do with insurance requirements and things of that nature that may hold them out, but we need to find ways to work around that. And I think,
well, we've adjusted that.
I know, but there's still some detrimental thing that's sticking out to these vendors that they don't want to do business with the city. We have to figure that out, and that's not only staff's fault; that's us as well. We all need to dig into it. Kind of like what I'm doing with the electric utility. If somebody would like to take that animal on, please. Or I may have to volunteer myself for it.
There you go. Done. Thank you. Any further? No. All right, so let's do, we have a motion. We already had a motion a second, didn't we? Yeah, I think we did. All right, let's have a roll call on tab 7.
Councilman Cannibal?
Yes.
Councilwoman Konsky? Yes. Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Avila? Yes. Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bailey? Yes. Mayor Lawson?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to tab 8.
Tab 8 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, accepting a supplemental proposal with Vortex Services, LLC through the Interlocal Purchasing System TIPS for the completion of an SSES Cycle 2 wastewater basin repair project, including lining of additional sewer lines, basins, well fields, to now include related infiltration and inflow improvements. Authorize the City Manager to negotiate and execute an agreement accepting supplemental proposal and exempting the project from competitive bidding in accordance with City Code Section 2-4111A5, supplementing resolution numbers R2024-07-81 and R2024-10-134 on the same subject, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Any objection to waiving the staff report? Do we have a motion on this item? Moved by Cannibal, seconded by Fletcher. Any questions or comments from council? Hearing none, let's have a roll call vote on that tab 8.
Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilwoman Konsky? Yes. Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilman Cannibal? Yes. Vice Mayor Bailey? Yes. Mayor Lawson?
Yes.
The motion carries.
And moving on to tab 9, car number 5140.
Tab 9 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the ranking of the Evaluation Committee of Proposers to RFQ 2026-19 Construction Engineering Inspection Services for Chrome and Flagler Avenue, water and sewer upgrade, and transit accessibility improvements, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with E-Plus Engineering and Construction, LLC, as a top-ranked firm, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and enter into an agreement with the next highest-ranked firm, Rummel, Klepper, and Cull, LLP, if an agreement cannot be negotiated with the top-ranked firm, and likewise with the next-ranked firm, if necessary. Such agreement shall be subject to approval as to form and legal sufficiency by the city attorney, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Okay, we'll waive the staff report if there are no objections. Moved by Councilman Ross, seconded by Councilman Cannonball. If there's nothing further, let's have a roll call vote on tab 9.
Councilman Cannonball? Yes. Councilwoman Konski? Yes. Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilwoman Avila? Councilman Roth? Vice Mayor Bailey? Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carried.
And let's go to tab 10, Mr. Pearl, car number 5135.
Tab 10 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the award of a contract to Chen Moore and Associates pursuant to RFQ number 2025-09, Professional Architectural Engineering Services, continuing contract for the design of the Southwest 4th Street multi-use path in the amount of $199,432, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Any objection to waiving the staff report?
Nope, I will move it with a quick question. Do we see this design before it's finalized, or is it just a very basic?
Of course, Madam Vice Chair, Vice Mayor, there will be lots of consultants facing with local community stakeholders as well as mayor and council before this is finalized.
The only piece I want to have us pay attention to is it's going up to 187th Avenue, and then that's where that potential Touching Miami with Love project is widening and making a bike path that we can at least kind of coordinate efforts that it at least flows well together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, do we have a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Avila. All right, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Avila?
Yes.
Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Konski? Yes. Councilman Cannonball?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Yes.
Just for the record, on item 8, if I can be listed as a yes vote, I was out.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Okay. And that concludes the regular agenda. Because this was couched as a special call, it didn't have an itemization for individual council business. Is there anyone who's just bursting at the seams to talk about something that's very time sensitive?
Mr. Mayor? Addendum
Oh,
one
that's
is
right. I'm sorry.
raised.
I'm sorry.
Address
So
the
let's go to
addendums.
addendum 1.
Addendum 1 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the award of a purchase order to EC Fennel, Inc., pursuant to RFQ number 2025-09, Professional Architectural Engineering Services continuing contract for the design for a second FPL interconnection at the Renaissance Substation in the amount of $330,008, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Yes. Speaking of reliability, in our earlier conversation, moved by Councilman Fletcher, second by Councilman Cannonball. Any questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, let's have a roll call vote on addendum 1.
Councilwoman Konski? Yes. Councilman Cannonball? Yes. Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilwoman Avila? Yes. Councilman Fletcher?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bailey? Yes. Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
And addendum 2.
Addendum 2 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the ranking of the Evaluation Committee of Proposers to RFQ 2026-11 Surveillance Camera Technical Configuration and Layout Strategy, furnished and installed in Homestead Station, authorizing the city manager to negotiate and enter into an agreement with the top-ranked firm, Tadeos Engineering, LLC, contingent upon an extension of the applicable grant performance period by the granting agency, subject to approval as to form and legal sufficiency by the city attorney, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Waive the staff report. Any, no objections? Waive the staff report. Councilman Fletcher?
Move with a question or
Move.
a comment.
Yes, go ahead. Councilman Fletcher is moving it with a comment or a question.
Yeah, just quickly, I'd asked staff because I had misread the report earlier in regards to, I only thought I saw 4 levels, but now that I was looking at the wrong line, it's all 7. I was concerned we didn't have cameras on everything, but there is now.
Yeah.
And stairwells.
And stairwells.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second by Cannonball. Let's have a roll call vote on addendum 2.
Councilman Roth? Councilwoman Avila? Councilman Fletcher? Councilwoman Konsky? Councilman Cannibal? Vice Mayor Bailey? Mayor Losner?
Yes.
The motion carries.
All right, so that concludes the agenda. Our next council meeting, which is a budget-based meeting, is September 8th. Is that correct? At
Yes, Mr.
5:01?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
What's it? No. September 8th. And that's cast as a special call or a public hearing? What is that cast as?
It's a budget hearing. The first budget hearing.
Budget hearing for the first adoption of a budget. Is that correct? On the 8th? Okay, so the budget hearing would be prior to that. Apparently. And, right. And, it's yet to be determined whether or not the SPH item will be on the 8th, but that would be the earliest, absolutely earliest date, but probably not likely. There's the man with the plan.
So, Mayor and Council,
Yes.
I think there's a likelihood of a budget workshop, number 2,
Between now and then.
before the actual September date.
Carlos?
Yeah, the night of September 8th, you're going to have the CRA meeting. They'll present their budget. Then we have the special call for the city's budget, and then you'll have your regular council meeting.
Okay, very good. So that means pack a lunch or have dinner, right?
Quick question, Mayor.
Yes.
So there is somebody that I was trying to get to do the opening ceremony. Does that work for this?
We do have a regular meeting that's scheduled, noticed for 6, right?
Right. So would that be 6 o'clock?
More or
pretty
less
much?
6 o'clock.
For presentations or opening?
For the prayer and the flag ceremony? Is that what Sean, there's someone to give the invocation?
Yes.
Yeah.
6 o'clock. Ish.
6-ish.
Not before.
Yeah, absolutely not.
We don't want to
before.
do it at 5. We can't, it needs to be before the council meeting?
Is there any reason we can't do the pledge and the prayer before the budget meeting? And then we need all the help we can get this year's budget, right?
So maybe 5:30?
If they can be here for the budget.
I will
meeting,
shoot
yes.
for that. Thank you very much.
All right, Councilman Roth.
Real quick, sorry, I don't want to keep everybody too late, but I know we have a ribbon cutting Tuesday for the mobile clinic.
Is it Tuesday? I thought it was Friday.
Is the county moving that trailer out of there?
So the old trailer is scheduled already for removal because the construction of the new facility up north is about to commence, I think, next year.
Do we have it?
But we don't have an exact date. Pedro, do you have a date from the county? Okay.
So I noticed there's a few broken windows on that trailer now, so it's starting to look a little dilapidated. And then I was under the impression that the road work on Chrome and Flagler was going to start on Flagler, but I noticed it started on Chrome.
No, we've always said that they're going to commence at the end of the project, which is Lucy, walking north. When they get to Flagler, then they branch into Flagler.
So they're going to go Flagler first and then
come back and continue on Chrome.
I'm in the downtown after they do Flagler.
Okay, because maybe I missed that part, but because I saw they dug it up, and I'm okay with it, whatever. Just as long as they get it done quickly.
And it appears they're moving pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but we'll see when at the end of the day what ends up happening. That's all. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, if there's nothing further, then I'll entertain a motion and a second to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor and Council, we currently commenced open enrollment, started last Monday, and it's going to continue to September 1st.
Oh, very good.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Sorry. All right, we have a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Good night. Thank you all.